home probably around past. Give me a kiss. I love you, she said as she hurried out the door and got into her car. And I can guess what will happen next. She'll come back with no bags, head straight to the shower, and ignore my questions about her night. Then she'll go to bed early, saying she's too tired. It looks like I won't see her for a couple of days. Before, she used to go shopping every 4 to 6 weeks, but now it's every couple of weeks, usually on Wednesday nights. Still, there are no new packages arriving. She must think I'm clueless. Maybe she's just hanging out with the girls. But she looked pretty ordinary, not dressed up or anything. If she was going out for a special occasion, I would expect her to look nicer. Maybe she keeps those clothes in her car, but it's probably nothing. After 3 years of marriage, maybe she just needs some time to herself during the week. Every magazine talks about taking time for yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't care for anyone else, they say. I find that hard to believe. We talk, we laugh, and we do things together. We tell each other we love one another many times a day. We kiss in the morning, when we say goodbye, and often throughout the day. On weekends, we always enjoy fun activities. It just doesn't make sense. How can we be so close, and yet it feels like she's hiding something from me? But tonight I'll find out the truth. I hope she really is shopping. I can't stand the thought of her being with someone else, that someone else getting close to her. Oh no, here come the tears again and that awful feeling in my chest. I can't keep living like this. If she is cheating on me, the hurt will be so much worse than what I feel now. But I need to know. What did that song say? Suspicion tearing me apart? That's exactly how it feels, and it's affecting our relationship. It's winter, and it's already dark outside. An hour has passed. I'll check her phone's location. Oh no, it's near Lover's Leap. That's a dangerous spot. Not many people go there except for one thing. He sank to the floor in despair. Oh, why? I thought we were so happy together. She has never complained. It feels like my heart is breaking. How could she do this to me? To us? All right, it's time to gather myself. I need to find out who has my wife's attention. I'll take my truck. It's only a 15-minute drive. I'll leave my phone here. Let me go online and find a movie. Ah, Jaws. That seems fitting. I'm starting this to have an excuse just in case things go bad. Maybe my wife and her friend will take the quick way down the hill. That would serve them right, after breaking my trust and the promises of our marriage. It's hard to shake the image of another guy with her. If I'm honest, I have nothing to hold on to anymore. I could spend a long time in jail, or I could just drive off the hill with them. It's not the worst idea. I read about tragic stories like that a lot. Maybe it's better than facing prison. I've cared for her for so long. We've known each other since we were kids. We got closer during my last 2 years in college, even though she worked at home. After college, I received some great job offers, but chose to stay in our hometown. She moved in right after I graduated, and 6 months later we were married. Yes, we got married quickly, but we were best friends first and knew everything about each other. That's what hurts. How could you do this to a friend? To me? All right. It's quiet now as I walk up the hill. I don't want to alert them. Let me sneak around the corner. Wait, that's my brother's camper van. First, my wife betrayed me. Now it's my brother? Please, let this be a bad dream. They say those close to you can hurt you the most. But this feels worse than that. He moved quietly toward the side of the van. It was moving. Oh no. Wait, I can hear voices. Bo, oh Bo, that feels so good. Do it stronger. Yes, that's it. And Rex, you can help out too, but I want the real thing. I feel so uneasy going home after this. It's just too messy. And like I said, Ian's acting strange, so we need to stop this for a bit. Maybe for good. Okay, Sam, but you'll miss us. I doubt you can cope without us helping you every now and then. Don't kid yourselves. Ian's much better at this than you two, and I can't stop thinking about it, just thinking of him. Here comes another moment. She tensed for a second as Bo finished. Thanks, Bo. That was great. Now it's your turn, Rex. Hurry up. Remember, we only have a little time left, so make it count. What do you want me to do? So, Sam, if Ian's so good, why are we doing this? I don't know. Maybe it became a habit. We started this in high school and kept it going even when he was in college. Even during the years we were supposed to be exclusive. I just feel the need for you both sometimes. It's different than with Ian. The longest break we had was when I moved in with him and married him. I love him dearly, but the need returned, and we fell back into this. Remember? And all this time, he has never suspected a thing. He doesn't see the truth. I guess love can blind you. I feel a bit guilty sometimes, but this is just too enjoyable to stop. I really try to be a good wife to him. But this is the end, so let's make the most of it. I plan to start a family and be the best wife. He already thinks I'm not using birth control and that we're trying, but I didn't want to risk either of you getting me pregnant. My child would not be like I imagined. You guys will have to find real girlfriends if you want company. My doors will be closed. Do you think he has become suspicious with how often we've been meeting? That's why we kept it to once a month. I needed to clear my mind one last time, but now he seems off. I need to make it right with him and stop for a while. Until after I'm expecting. What did you tell him you were doing? Shopping? Maybe he's annoyed about the stuff you bought? Oh no, I never brought any items home. I can't believe I was so careless. No wonder he's acting suspicious. All right, I need to finish up. I need to go to Walmart before everywhere else closes. It's almost 9. If he suspects something, he'll be upset. But he loves me so much. I'll do anything to keep him. Counseling. Anything. Okay, Rex. Let's make it quick. I want to enjoy this one last time before I really stop and go shopping. The brothers exchanged worried glances. They knew if they got caught, there would be no chance of forgiveness. Rex headed to the bedroom. John peeked in just in time to see her lie back, allowing Rex to come over. Anger flooded through him. Betrayal. They would have to face the consequences. He rushed quietly back to the truck. This might help. He secured a blanket to the front of his truck, hoping it wouldn't leave marks. He put the truck in gear. Wait a moment. I need to make a couple of quick calls. Hey, Mom, is Bo there? I need to talk to him. No, John. He and Rex went to the gym. They'll be back in about an hour. They don't stay out long. You could call back later, like around 9. Okay, it wasn't important. I can catch him tomorrow. Let me try another number. Hello, Helen. Is Sam there? I'm trying to find her. What? She's outside talking to her dad? In the dark? No problem. I'll just wait until she gets back. It's nothing urgent. Have a nice evening. I'm sorry to bother you. I felt betrayed by my wife, my brothers, and even my mother. I couldn't help but think that everyone knew what was going on, even her mother. It seemed like no one bothered to tell me. I wondered how many of our friends were aware of the situation. It felt like I needed some kind of revenge. Ian started the truck and slowly drove close to the van. With a powerful engine, he bumped into the back of it. The back crumpled, lifting into the air. The van swerved off the road. Inside, the people were thrown around and quickly tried to get up. What happened? One of them exclaimed. Ian hit the van again, causing it to hit the safety railing and tip toward the edge. He thought one more push would be enough to send the van over the edge. The van felt unsteady, and he imagined it falling down. Another bump caused one of the passengers to hit a cabinet, leaving a scratch on his head. We're in trouble. Someone is really angry, he shouted. He heard Sam crying out for help. Please, I'm so sorry for what I've done. If you let me live, I promise to be the best wife and work hard to fix things with Ian. Ian stepped back, hesitating about what he was doing. A voice reminded him he wasn't a bad person. He hadn't done anything wrong. Why should he take things further? He felt like happiness might still be possible. Unsure, he turned the truck around and drove away. Rex wiped his forehead, realizing it was Ian in the truck. Oh no, he was going to hurt us. What? Ian wasn't supposed to find out. I need to explain. I can't lose him. Sam was crying. What have I done? He must be so hurt to think like this. Come on, let's go after him. He might be heading home. They tried to move the van, but it was stuck against the guardrail. Rex and Bo grabbed some tools to fix it. This is really messed up. I hope we can make it to your place, Sam. But they were an hour behind John. When Ian arrived at his mom's house, he looked lost. Hi, Mom. Are Bo and Rex still at the gym? Ian? His mom looked at him with tears in her eyes, her face full of sadness. Oh, Ian, you found out, didn't you? Yes, Mom, and I almost lost my cool with them. Oh no, Ian, I'm so sorry. I should have told you. I should have never let it go on. You knew all along, didn't you? You knew they were involved since high school. Why didn't you say anything? You could have helped me avoid dating her, maybe even stop me from marrying her. But instead, you let it happen. You covered for them. Why? How could you do this to me? I just don't understand. I don't know. You two seemed so happy together and it was clear you loved each other. I really don't know. Can you ever forgive me? She continued to cry, her heart heavy with regret. What kind of mother would allow this? How could they let it happen? It felt so wrong. Did Dad know? Tell me the truth. No more lies. I think he had an idea but didn't want to face it. Great. So I'm betrayed by my wife, my brothers, and my parents. Let me guess. Her mom knew too? She nodded. But Helen thought you were good for her and that she would change, but when she didn't... He raised his hand. I suspect they went to my house first. They'll come here next. I have to leave. He leaned forward and kissed her forehead. She flinched at the gesture. Mom, thank you for everything you've given me. I will always love you for that, but you've let me down in a way I can't forgive. I will carry that with me forever. No, Ian, you need to understand. Please, I'm so sorry. What can I do to make it right? Nothing, Mom. There's nothing that can fix this. We're way past that. I'm leaving now and you and Dad will never see me again. Please, don't try to find me. If I see any of you again, it won't end well. Goodbye. Ian, please, you can't go. Not like this. You have to understand. She fell to her knees, crying into her hands. Her husband walked in. What's happening? Are you okay? Did he hurt you? Worse. Much worse. He found out about Sam and the boys. They've cost us our son. We'll never see him again. What were we thinking? He left and drove to Sam's parents' house. He knocked on the door. Ian, what are you doing here? Sam isn't home. I know, Helen. She's at Lover's Leap with my brothers. Is that what you were going to tell me? Shock spread across her face. The moment she had feared for years had finally come. She had always believed she could help him understand if it ever happened. But one look made her realize that there was nothing she could say to make things better. The marriage was over. Everything was finished. Why did she ever think it was okay not to tell him? Helen saw the anger in his eyes, lifeless as if he had no soul. Oh no, what have we done to this poor boy? Tears filled her eyes as she held her hands out, hoping for forgiveness. Pain and fear overwhelmed her. Helen, you knew everything. You could have told me any time in the last 5 years. Instead, you hid it from me. So here's how it is. Thank you for all the nice things you and your husband have done for me. You welcomed me into your family, but I am furious with you for not telling me. You could have stopped this. You could have saved us all from the hurt we are feeling now. In any case, it's too late. I'm leaving now. Forever. I will never speak to you or Sam again. All communication will go through my lawyer. Don't try to find me. Tell Sam that if I see her again, I will end this for good. There will be no forgiveness, no help, no fixing things. It's over. You might tell her that I heard them talking in the van. I appreciate her telling my brothers that at least I wasn't a disappointment. I'll always remember that. But I will only think about my brothers being with her. She can't undo that. Wish her a happy life for me. If you would, please give her my phone and my wedding ring. It clearly meant more to me than to her, or to you. Goodbye. He turned on the phone and walked out the door. Helen just watched him leave. Oh, that poor boy. A moment later, the phone rang. Shaking off her thoughts, she answered. Ian, oh, Ian, thank you for answering. I'm so sorry. I need to talk to you. I need to explain. Please, where are you? Ian, what have I done? Sam, it's your mom. Ian came by and left the phone and his wedding ring. He said he's leaving and won't see us again. Mom, no, I have to talk to him. I have to fix things. There's no fixing this, I think. You should have seen him, Sam. He looked like a ghost. It was unsettling. Are you okay? Mom! He almost pushed us off Lover's Leap. You deserved it, but we all deserved it. Why don't you come home, dear, and we'll try to sort it out? He made it clear that the marriage is over. Her mom heard her cry of sadness as she hung up. Well, they're probably on their way to Helen's house. She'll be staying there for a while, I think. So I'll stop by our place, pick up my bags, and hit the road. If I head toward the interstate, I can find a hotel a little ways away, far enough that they won't find me. If they even decide to look for me, then get to work. So much to do. Bank transfers, charge cards, setting up a new direct deposit for my work checks. And then tomorrow I need to talk to my boss about quitting. I'll also arrange a Zoom meeting with my lawyer. Finally, I have to decide where I'm going to move. How does that song go? Heads California, tails Carolina? Or is it the other way around? That doesn't help much since I'm already in North Carolina. California doesn't sound appealing. Maybe somewhere in between, like the Rockies. Later, who says small towns don't need someone to handle tech issues? For 2 years, computer services has become so busy that this is the first time I've truly felt free to take a break. It feels good to get away after all this time, even if it's just for an afternoon. And what a place this is. I really enjoy living here. It's affordable, friendly, and I can be on a hiking trail in 15 to 20 minutes. There are no crowds, and I've always loved these sorts of hikes. The path may be tough at the start, going uphill most of the way, but the best part is coming back downhill. It's so much better than the other way around. You hear stories about those who hike down into the Grand Canyon and then have to climb all the way back out. No, thank you. But it's been 2 years, and I can't shake these memories from my mind. They replay over and over like a scene from a movie. Why can't I just feel nothing? When will the pain and anger I have towards those I once cared about start to fade? And how could I have been so foolish? I should have known better. I must have done something wrong. Doubts and regrets spin in my head non-stop. How do I make them stop? The chaos in my mind just doesn't let up. Working helps a little, but I knew it wouldn't be easy. I cared too much for it to be simple. What if I can never move on? What if I can't find peace again? The noise surrounding me makes it hard to focus, and trying to clear my mind only brings the memories into sharper view. Every single detail haunts me. Drinking just leads to tears, and I wake up feeling worse. I don't want to turn to drugs. So I stay busy, working hard and then exercising, hoping that maybe, just maybe, I can actually sleep at night. But I never can. Each night feels like a battle. That therapist didn't help, and I refuse to take medication to numb myself. What kind of life would that be? But at this moment, my life doesn't feel like much of a life at all. Will I ever feel happy again? Will I be able to laugh or smile genuinely? Will I ever heal enough to let someone else in, to love again and feel excitement? Thanks for the memories, Sam. You've probably already moved on, not even thinking about me anymore. There I go again. What a way to ruin a trip to the woods, Ian. Good job. I'm really glad I took some time off. But the loneliness. How can I feel lonely with all these thoughts racing around? I just don't understand it. Okay, stop. You're doing a great job of ruining one of your favorite hikes. I might as well turn back. I haven't looked at the birds or trees or enjoyed anything. I've spent 2 whole days stuck in the past. Ugh! Wait, maybe I should try meditating again. Let's quiet the mind, repeat my mantra, let go of any thoughts that come up, breathe deeply. Oh, forget it. It's not working again. Maybe I should just have a sandwich and head back down. Hold on. What's that? I felt something like before when I almost crashed the van. That's strange. What was that noise? Sounds like something falling. Maybe it was just a rock moving as the sun warmed things up. No, wait. Is that a voice? It sounds kind of weak. I think I heard help. Oh no, it really does sound like it's down below the trail somewhere. I can't see anything though. Well, I have nothing to lose since I was about to turn back anyway. Might as well check it out. He looked for a safe spot and climbed down the rocks. The ground was unstable from an old landslide. After some slipping and sliding, he finally made it to the bottom. There, lying on her back in the dirt, was a girl. She didn't look good. Eyes closed, she let out a small, "Help!" I can't believe I heard that. "Miss, are you okay?" She opened her eyes. "Who? What? Oh no! Have I been that bad? I thought a handsome prince would come and save me. Instead, I get a big hairy ogre. Does that mean I'm going somewhere bad? Not the clouds? Oh no, I'm so sorry for the things I did in the past. I want to do better. Please let me live." She reached out and touched his arm. "Wow, you're real. But just look at your eyes. They seem to show a lot of pain." He chuckled. "Ogre at your service, ma'am. Looks like you're hurt a bit." "No kidding. My legs are fine. I'm the lead dancer in the show and just practicing my pose. You know, how they stand with their toes pointed out? I must have been lying here for 2 days or so, freezing without food or water, and you say I'm hurt? By the way, do you have any water? And stop calling me ma'am?" He smiled. "Actually, I do have some water." She frowned at him. "Here, drink as much as you want. I can easily get more water from the stream." "You shouldn't just drink from the stream. Didn't your mom teach you anything?" She flinched at that. "There are all sorts of germs in it. I really don't want to spend the day feeling sick." I have a filter and some tablets to clean the water, but please don't drink too much or you might feel bad. Oh, wow, that tastes really good. I'm ready for the prince now. She smiled as she said it. I guess some food would be too much to ask for. First, let's get you cozy in my sleeping bag. Hey, watch your hands there. Sorry, it's part of my outdoor training. What? From YouTube? He laughed again. No, it's a real class. How would you like some peanut butter on bread? Extra crunchy, of course. Really? I've been lying here for 2 days hungry and you bring me peanut butter? No jelly? No jelly. So you went on a long hike with just a jar of peanut butter? No protein bars or snacks? He shook his head. And a loaf of bread. And it's a big jar. Wow, have I been that bad? No prince, just peanut butter? Fine, I'll take 6. Just keep them coming. Here, can you prepare them? She nodded. So how did you get hurt and break your legs? I was pushed. Seriously? Yep, some raccoon or something surprised me and pushed me. No, actually, I was watching 2 cute marmots. You know how it is when you're distracted, but it's fall now, so I guess it was more like saying goodbye until next spring. But not for you. No funny ideas. Anyway, they ran off, and I stood on a rock to see them better, and then I ended up down here. My legs got stuck, and then I kept falling until they finally came free. The sound was pretty rough. Sounds like a lot of fun. I wouldn't suggest it to anyone. Definitely less than 1 star. I agree. Let me check on you. You have some nice bruises on your face. Is your head okay? How's your vision and teeth? And if it's not, what will you do? He started laughing again. I don't know, that's part of the next class. I haven't learned that yet, but the first lesson said I should ask. I'm starting to worry about you, Rescue Man. Maybe I should just wait for the next class. Let's see. First, A, B, C, airway, check, breathing, check, circulation. Yes, I can feel your pulse. No, wait, that's not right. She rolled her eyes and he smiled at her. And deliver me from trouble, for you are my... First, we should probably take off those boots to check your feet. No, don't touch them. First, my good friend, you clearly failed your first aid training. If they are hurt, it's too late. Their feet were so sore and swollen that putting shoes back on would be impossible. The cold air would make everything worse on the way back. You're right. They need to breathe a bit, she said. Ah, that's much better. Thanks. I should have thought of that before zoning out. Next, let's adjust your pants. No way. Don't even think about it. Stay back. If you touch me, I don't know. I'll hit you with this rock or maybe distract you with my karate moves. What? Karate? Is that some new thing? I thought this was a rescue. Tears started to fill her eyes. Listen, I can't stop you, but please don't. I'm already in so much pain. If you're going to do that, just make it quick. I don't think I could take it, she said with her hands covering her face. He raised his hands calmly. No, it's fine. I'm not going to do anything like that. She looked relieved. What? You're saying I'm not the fairest person you've ever saved? No, not really. So I'm not charming? Charming? What do you mean? The point of talking is to connect, and I'm sure you understood. Yes, I did. That was funny. Are you saying I smell bad, is that it? No, of course not. I'm just thinking it's odd that no animals have come to see how you are. For thou art my shepherd. No, I just want to check if you're hurt. What if I cut your pants a little to see if anything's serious? No way! These are my favorite pants. They're fine, see? No blood, so nothing major. I know you just want to check out my special things. I'm sure your special things are just like any other person's. How rude. Is that how you charm people? No wonder there aren't many ogres around. I can assure you mine is special. That's nice, but I'm not interested in that right now. What, are you not into girls? It's okay if you aren't. No, that's not it. Oh, I'm sorry, I see the mark on your finger. What mark? She pointed to his ring finger, still showing the white line where a ring used to be. You get used to checking if a guy is single. I've noticed it happens often. How long has it been? He frowned and looked away. 2 years? It felt like just yesterday. Was it death or a breakup? Sorry, I'm prying. No, it's fine, it was a divorce. Pain crossed his face as he thought back to those memories. Ouch. That must have been tough, she said softly. So, my rescuer, how do you plan to get me out of this situation? What is your name, big guy? Ian. Pleased to meet you, Ian. We might need to stop meeting like this. She laughed lightly. I'm Sam. His eyes grew wide, and his face showed a mix of pain and concern. Oh no, her name? He nodded. That's not a good name to use. My middle name is Allison. Can you call me Allie instead? He nodded and wiped a tear from his eye. Now that we've said our names, how are you going to get me out of here? Where's your horse? I'll carry you. Really? It's a long way back. I know you're strong, but that's a lot to ask. Ollie, look, there's no phone service. It's 2 days to get help. Even with vehicles, it would take time. I'm worried you won't enjoy peanut butter anymore after that. And that would just be wrong. Plus, you're very small. Just try not to eat or drink too much on the way. They both laughed. I promise. What about one of those stretchers? You could make one and carry me, right, Mr. Woodsman? Yes, I can, but it might be tricky. Okay, truth time, Ian. The animals are right. I haven't moved much. I had an accident. What? Something you couldn't control? Not exactly. It's just that I couldn't ask you to help with. Well, you know. Another reason to get your clothes off. We can clean you up and I'll wash your things. Please, Ian, don't. All right, whatever you say, miss. We ogres aim to please. Did you have a pack with you? I did, and I had some good food in it. But I lost it when I fell. I think some animal took it. It must have. I didn't see it, but we can check again. So why don't I pack your things up, support your legs how they are, and then I can lift you onto my shoulders. I can carry my backpack too, and see if I can get us up the slope safely. Ian, that sounds impossible. Don't worry. I've been exercising. See my muscles? Yeah, great. I feel much better about this. I might as well just give up. And we'll both be facing the same way when you're on my shoulders? He looked at her blankly. Oh, rescue man. I waste my best words on you. Suddenly he laughed. Yes, we'll both be facing the same way. It felt good to laugh after so long. She made him smile. After 2 days, her strength to joke amazed him. He packed her things, got some more water, then lifted her up. She cried out in pain, even though her legs were braced, but she didn't complain. He easily lifted her onto his shoulders and handed her the backpack. What took 15 minutes to go down took almost 2 hours to come back up. He crawled on all fours a lot of the way. By the time he reached the top, he was soaked. Sorry, Allie, I'm as wet as you are. Yes, and you smell even worse, she said, patting his chest gently. Ian, you should take a break. No, I'm okay. Your pants are heavy, but you're light. If we could just get them off. You're so rude. Just breathe in that fresh mountain air. She playfully slapped his head. It smells like a sweaty giant to me. They say you get used to the smell after a while. Ian, just do me a favor and let me rest here. I'll wait for the next rescue team. She lightly tapped his head again, then started playing with his hair. Sorry, it'll be easier from here. Most of it is downhill. It'll get dark soon. Can you hand me the pack? He reached in and pulled out a headlamp before holding onto the pack by its straps. Then he began moving again. In less than half an hour, she seemed to have fallen asleep, though it was restless sleep. She whimpered occasionally. He could imagine it must hurt a lot. She must be so tired. Another half hour later, it was completely dark. He kept walking. He had to make good time. He would stop when she woke up or needed a break. He moved steadily, trying to ignore his tired body while pushing aside memories of the past. The memories of that painful night haunted him. He often felt the tears come at night. Suddenly, she woke up with a start and let out a quick scream. Ian, it's dark. You should stop. Is that a light over there? Is it almost dawn? Did I sleep through resting time? Wait, you walked all night? You need to take a break. Even giants need breaks. No, I'm okay. I'm a bit scared to stop. I understand, but Ian, there's a problem. I drank too much water and I don't know what to do. She started to cry. I'm so sorry for putting you through this. What should I do? Here's the deal. You have a choice. If it's too much, just let it happen. I'm already pretty wet and so are your pants. No way, I can't do that. I'm embarrassed enough already. I usually smell like flowers. He laughed. Just put me down on a log. I'll manage. But don't peek, okay? And please don't leave me here. Laughing, he replied, All right, whatever you say. He found a log and lowered her down carefully. Turning his back, he listened as she struggled. Need help with those pants? He asked jokingly. No, keep that light away from me. Just then, it sounded like a rushing river nearby. Oh, wow, Allie. I hope no one is around to hear that. We might get in trouble. Shut up. Feel free to laugh at my expense, she said with a smile. I guess it's good I put you down earlier. I would have gotten wet. How much water did you drink? That's not a nice way to talk to a lady. You should relax, Ian. I really need more water and some of that peanut butter. It's cold and I need the sleeping bag. Can we do that? Okay, but just for 1 hour. I'm setting a timer. Here's some water and food. I'll just lie down for a minute. No, Ian. We both need to get under the sleeping bag to keep warm, all right? Can I trust you? I'll behave just like those animals that hurt you. Lord, help me out of this situation. I don't care how you do it. She smiled at him and kept looking at him. He smiled back and climbed under the bag with her. He was exhausted and quickly fell asleep. It felt like only a moment passed before the alarm went off. He woke up, stretched, and wasn't sure resting was a good idea. He drank some water and had a little peanut butter, saving the bread for her. Ready to go? Do you need to stop? She nodded. He carefully set her on a log and turned away. Once she was ready, he lifted her onto his shoulders, grabbed the pack, and started walking. So, Ian, where are you from? You don't sound like you're from around here. You have a bit of an accent that isn't New York. North Carolina, about an hour from Raleigh. Know where that is? Sure, it's near Iowa and Minnesota, right? They both laughed. Yep. Ian, when I get better and can walk, you better watch out. I know where Raleigh is. I spent a lot of time looking at maps at the library, dreaming about places to visit when I got the chance. Did you go to NC State? No, I went to UNC Charlotte. I liked the computer science program there, and I wanted to move away from home a little. That makes sense. Both cities are growing fast and have good job opportunities. I'm impressed. How did you know that? I read a lot and usually remember what I learn. It just sticks with me. What was your education like? I got my GED and that's all. I wanted to go further, but things in life got in the way. My childhood wasn't typical. So what do you do for work, Ian, besides rescuing people in the woods? I own a computer store. I handle sales and service. The store in town? He nodded. I peeked inside sometimes. Computers are amazing. They can take you anywhere and teach you so much. I wish I knew more about them. I've only used the ones at school or the library, and they're a bit outdated. Yes, you should learn. There are great job opportunities out there. Maybe you could work for me. Really, Ian? That would be amazing. I would be your best employee ever. Well, you would be my only employee. So, I guess that makes me the best? She laughed softly. Yes, you would be the best. I will get you a special award. You could even be Employee of the Month. That sounds amazing. But then she sighed. You really don't have to, Ian. You're doing enough already. So, tell me about your ex, Ian. What happened? He stopped walking and tensed up. Ian, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to bring it up. It just came out. He started walking again. Ian, please say something. I'm really sorry. My mom always said I talked too much and got myself into trouble. He walked on, taking brief breaks. After that, they didn't talk much. He just continued along the path. She admired his strength and affectionately brushed her fingers through his dark hair. She took in the beauty of the forest and wished she had kept quiet. Most of the leaves were gone high up, but many remained lower down. Mostly, she stared ahead down the trail, letting her thoughts wander as she tried to ignore the pain in her legs. As night fell, he took a break. They had not seen anyone else on the trail. His phone still wasn't working. He gathered some wood and built a small fire using a circle of rocks to keep the warmth in, letting it warm her. He found a stream nearby. Although it was chilly, he washed up and lay in the water, thinking it felt nice. He was partially visible in the dim light, and she couldn't look away. Well, Allie, my clothes are starting to smell pretty bad. Is it okay if I go wash them and hang them by the fire? I promise I'm not going without clothes underneath. But when you're as big as I am, well, you know. I guess that's one way to keep a spare pair of socks. He laughed. My secret is out. I actually have some clean clothes I can change into. I have a couple of the shirts in my pack if you want to change yours. Sure, I'd love to get my pants washed, but I have no idea how I would take them off with these splints and all. My undergarments are pretty small. How about this? I know you didn't want to, but I have a pair of sweatpants in the pack. What if I carefully cut your pants so they're easy to take off? I can get you some water to wash up and you can put on the sweatpants. I promise I'll cut them in a way they can be sewn back together, or I can even buy you a new pair. Once we get back and I take you to the hospital, I can drive to your house and get you some more clothes." She looked pained and tears started to fall. "Allie, I'm sorry. What did I do wrong?" "Nothing, Ian. It's just me. I don't have any other clothes." "I don't have anything." She pulled up the sleeves of her sweatshirt, revealing scars and bumps. "Ian, I used to struggle with drugs. My mom got me into heroin when I was young. We barely made it, but a couple of years ago she switched to meth. I couldn't handle it. I watched her fall apart. It was like she was disappearing. Then she passed away, probably from an overdose. I didn't even realize it for hours because I was so out of it. That day, I promised myself I'd stop. It was terrible. I went through withdrawal. It was really tough to get through. I rolled around feeling awful, but it doesn't matter now. I've been clean for a year, but I'm still at the church's recovery house. I have a part-time job, but no one wants to hire me because everyone knows my mom. In a small town like this, they don't trust me. I understand why. Starting over somewhere else is hard and costs money I don't have. So if you want to leave me here, I get it. You've already done so much for me." "Not a chance. You got through the tough part. That takes a lot of strength. It's a big achievement. And here I was, feeling down about my own problems. Don't worry, Allie. I'll help you get back on your feet. No strings attached." He held up his hands. "I promise." She felt tears coming and started to cry. "Why, Ian? Why do you want to help me?" "Because you need support, and that's what we do for each other." He laughed a little and took out some sweatpants and a t-shirt. "I think these will fit you." Okay. Help me out and get me some water." He carefully removed her splints, adjusted her pants, and covered her with a sleeping bag. He noticed some of her clothes were damaged. "I should help with that. Here's some fresh water from the mountain stream. It's a bit cold, but I didn't have a way to warm it up. And here's a shirt for you to use. I'll just get rid of it when you're finished." She smiled. "Ogre, you have a way of making a person feel important. Now stop peeking and let me wash." She did her best to clean up and put on the sweatpants. They were very big, just like the shirt. "Oh, this shirt smells like Ian. I like it." She tucked away some of her old clothes in his pack. "I should get rid of those, but my other set is in there too." She had fallen asleep by the time he returned. He collected more wood, grabbed some peanut butter, refilled their water, and lay down next to her, making sure she was warm under the sleeping bag. A few hours later, a sound woke him. He turned on his headlamp and saw a bear nearby. Great, of all the luck. He jumped up, grabbed a burning stick from the fire, and approached the bear. The bear stepped back and wandered off, but Ian knew it would probably return. It could smell the food. Peanut butter seems to attract all animals. We might as well get moving. He woke Allie up, helping her get ready and keeping her comfortable in her sweatpants. He spent the rest of the night walking, and as morning came, he saw the parking lot and his truck. Not bad. It had taken a day and a half. "Let's get you loaded up, and I'll take you to the hospital in Dillard. They have a doctor there who can help you." When they arrived at the emergency department, he went inside to explain what had happened. Soon he returned to the truck with a wheelchair and a nurse. They helped her into the chair, and the nurse took her inside while he parked. When he came back, Allie was already in X-ray, and the nurse approached him with some forms to fill out. He explained that he had found her on the trail and carried her back from near Jackson's Peak. The nurse was amazed. "You carried her that far in just 36 hours? You're a hero. We should tell the newspaper." "No, I'm no hero. I just did what was necessary. She is the real hero. She survived for 2 days with 2 broken legs before I found her, with nothing to eat or drink. Then another day and a half on my shoulders, so give her the credit." After a little while, the doctor came to the waiting area. "Ian?" He nodded. "Hello, I'm Dr. Jones. Allie has said I can talk to you. She mentioned you just met on the trail?" Ian nodded. "Well, she needs surgery as soon as we can arrange it. Her injuries are serious. There are a lot of pieces to her bones. She really hurt them. We'll put plates on the smaller bone in her leg, the fibula. But for the larger bone, the tibia, I'll try to connect the big pieces with a rod, add a long plate across the breaks, and use some screws and bone grafts. She looks like someone who was in a tough accident. I don't know how she managed all this. And since it won't be stable at first, I'll need to put a brace on the outside until she starts to heal. After that, she'll need casts. It will probably be about 6 weeks before she can start to walk again. The surgery will last a few hours. She won't be able to put any weight on her legs for at least 4 to 6 months. Then she'll need therapy. With one leg, she might use crutches, but with both legs. Doctor, she asked me to tell you that she doesn't want any pain medication. She had some trouble with drugs before and is worried about becoming dependent again. Yes, we talked about that. Getting a vein for her IV was tricky. We ended up using a vein in her neck. It's impressive how far she's come. We'll give her some nerve blocks that should last a day, and then acetaminophen. If she handled the pain for almost 4 days, she should be able to manage some pain from surgery. She'll be here for several days, but she can't go back to the crisis house and doesn't seem to have any family. That's not a problem, Doctor. She can stay at my place, and I can help her. Whatever she needs to feel better. You would do that? You just met her? That's what people do, right? Help those in need, so it's no problem. Where do you live, Ian? Not far. In Grinwald. I own the computer store there. So, you're that person. My wife got her computer from you. She really liked the help you gave her and loves her computer. Maybe the hospital could use someone like you. I think they are wasting a lot of money. The system they have is really slow and often doesn't work right. I'll talk to them. Anyway, would you like to spend some time with her until we take her back? She was asking about you. I'm a bit dirty, Doctor. Are you sure it's all right? I mean, it's fine, Ian. This is a small hospital, not a fancy one. As they walked to the waiting area, he said, Hey, Allie, you seem better. And you still smell bad, Ogre. She started to tear up. I'm scared, Ian. I'm scared of the surgery and what will happen later. They said I can't put any weight on my legs for 4 to 6 months, or even longer. She started to cry. What will I do, Ian? Am I going to end up in a nursing home with old, sick people, or something worse? I'm really scared. In my past life, nothing mattered much. It was tough. But now? What will I do? He took her hand and she jumped back at first. But then she looked into his eyes and calmed down. I've got a plan. You can move in with me. She tried to pull her hand away again. No way, Allie. Not like that. I won't bother you. You need help, and the doctor says there's no one else. I promise. You can have the bedroom. I'll take the couch. It'll be fine. When you feel better, you can help out in my store to pay me back. How does that sound? You wanted to be Employee of the Month, right? And if you don't like having me around, I can sleep at the office or something. Whatever you need. She just looked into his blue eyes, searching. Who is this guy? You would really do that for me? Why? We just met. No one has ever done anything for me before. Tears filled her eyes again, and he handed her a tissue. So, here's the plan. I'll stay with you until the surgery starts. Then I'll rush home, clean up. I need to tidy up my place and get some food. And then I'll be back when you go to your room. Does that sound good? I hope I can make it back. But Ian, you don't have to. Yes, I do. There's no way I can't help, Allie. This might also help me focus on something other than my own troubles. She squeezed his hand. Thanks, Ogre, and thanks for being there for me. My life, and maybe in other ways too. She smiled. But no more peanut butter. He smiled back. Wait until you try my peanut butter pie. I use one of those pre-made crusts and melt a jar of peanut butter. Enough! You're making me feel sick. They both laughed. When the medical staff came to take her away, he wished her good luck and gave her a gentle kiss on the forehead. She flinched at first, but then relaxed and smiled. Sorry, Ian. I have some issues, but thank you for everything. Wish me luck. As they rolled her away, he hurried home. He decided he better clean up first. The people at the grocery store wouldn't appreciate seeing him like this. It wouldn't look good. He smiled to himself, quickly tidied up the apartment, picked up his dirty clothes, and started a load in the washing machine. He rinsed the dishes, loaded them in the dishwasher, and turned it on. He changed the sheets on the bed and cleaned the bathroom. An hour later, he headed to the department store. He needed a toothbrush, deodorant, body wash, shampoo, conditioner, and a hairbrush for her long blonde hair. He grabbed some hair ties. He wasn't really sure what else she needed. He had never had sisters. Sam had short hair, but most of the other things would be similar. He thought he might need another cart soon. Buying all this stuff for the first time added up. Oh well, next came clothes. The nurse had given him an estimate of her sizes. Sam was bigger, and he couldn't read the labels on her clothes. He picked up scrubs, shorts, t-shirts, sweatshirts, socks, and shoes. He got 2 sizes of sneakers. He thought about bras, but decided that was beyond him. He also picked up an inflatable mattress. He realized this was going to be a challenge. He needed sheets, blankets, towels, and washcloths. His place was pretty bare. It was just a single guy's home. But now someone else would be living there, and she needed care. Then he went to the medical supply store. He explained what he needed, and they helped him choose the right equipment for home care. Finally, it was time for the grocery store. He filled his cart with good food, not his usual frozen meals. He opted for salads, meat, vegetables, and cereal. His truck was packed. Thankfully, he had a bed cover. He got everything put away and was back at the hospital in 3 hours. He had just pulled out his laptop to do some work when the surgeon came out. He jumped up. "Is she okay?" "Yes, Ian, the surgery went well. No problems. There were lots of small pieces and a lot of healing to do. Unfortunately, because of all the pieces and a larger area, plates alone wouldn't hold everything in place. To keep things aligned, we used an external fixator, like I mentioned. Hers has more rods than most, especially on her right leg. The left leg wasn't as damaged. She won't like the fixator, but it will be better than the casts she'll need later. She won't like having both legs in long casts." Ian looked confused. "Sorry. Her casts will go from her foot to her thigh on both sides." "Oh. She'll need to avoid putting weight on it for at least 3 months, maybe 6 or more, to help everything heal properly. So she'll be using a wheelchair. But thankfully her joints are fine, and she's young, so she should recover well. It will just take some time, maybe up to a year. I got some things while she was in surgery." "That's great. The nurses will give you a list of what she'll need at home to make sure you have everything ready. Social services might also be able to help." "Can I see her?" "Soon, after she gets settled in her room." When they called him, he went to her room. She was still a bit sleepy. He walked gently to her bed and carefully pushed a strand of hair away from her face. She opened her eyes and smiled. "Hey there, Ogre. You look sharp. You didn't have to dress up for me." And she playfully fluttered her eyelashes. He chuckled. "I might have to stay at the office after all. The doctor said everything went well, but you've got some serious equipment under those sheets." He handed her a bouquet of flowers he'd brought. She started to tear up. "You're so sweet. I just got out of surgery and now you're making me cry. Ian? No one has ever bought me flowers before. Well, once, but I didn't get them. Thank you. But why are you doing all this?" "Because I can, and I want to help. I need something to focus on to clear my mind. And helping you might be just what I need to move past things. It's simple, really. You need help, and that's what people do." He smiled. "Besides, what other choice do you have? You'll be off your feet for a while. How are you feeling?" "It hurts, but not like before. I think they put some heavy stuff in these dressings. Want to take a look?" "Yes, but promise you won't peek under my gown. I know you're kind." He rolled his eyes. "Just kidding, big guy." They carefully moved the sheet and saw large metal rods attached to a frame on both legs. "Wow, those look useful." Her eyes filled with tears. "Ian, I don't know what I would have done without your help." "It's nothing serious. If I hadn't helped, you might have had a bear situation out there instead." "Well, that makes me feel a lot better. But really, thank you." And she squeezed his hand. On the 5th day, she was allowed to go home. She could use a wheelchair, but her legs were meant to be elevated to reduce swelling. He visited her before and after work, and they learned a lot about each other, but they didn't talk about their pasts. At Ian's apartment, he said, "Here it is, Allie. Home sweet home. Thankfully, it's easy to get around since it's a walk-in. Hang on. I'll show you around. This is the living room. I use Roku for TV and movies. Here's how it works. And here's the kitchen where you can make all my meals." He chuckled. "Actually, I moved a lot of items to the lower shelves here and in the pantry so you can easily reach the snacks and protein bars from your chair. And here's the peanut butter. Extra crunchy, I hope." "Of course. But I don't think you'll want any of my cooking, Ian. It's not safe to eat, really. The health department would probably put a warning on it. Here's the bathroom." "What's that thing in there?" "A shower chair. You move from your wheelchair to the shower chair. Then when you're done, back to the chair. I got you some nice soaps and shampoos. Out here I have your toothbrush, comb, deodorant, and a razor. Heavy-duty razor with a lot of blades. The package says it's for use on animals. I even got some trimmers just in case. She stuck out her tongue at him. Oh, and some of these. He turned red. You bought me those? She felt tears coming. How did you know about them? Did you buy them for someone else? He looked a bit nervous. Sorry, Ian, I shouldn't have. It was hard to pick out. Sizes, shapes, brands. I finally asked a woman for help and she suggested these large, reusable ones. Really? You're silly. No, I really did ask. And she suggested these and some other supplies. Just make a list if you need anything else. Ian, you've already done so much. I'll find a way to repay you. More tears. Okay, let's continue the tour. Here's the bedroom. I put on new sheets. I had to get rid of the old ones and clean for pests. It's all fresh now. Remember, you need to do those exercises a few times a day. You have to strengthen your arms so you can move around easier. I can't be carrying you all the time, with my back. What is that thing? A bedside commode. So, if you have to get up in the night, you can use it without going too far. If you call, I can help you move, but you might be able to shift over by yourself. Oh, and there's a container underneath that can be emptied and cleaned in the morning. I put a lot of toilet paper next to it for you. Now she felt embarrassed. Sorry about this, Ian. It's all too much, really. But wouldn't it be better for you to use it? I know when you get older, you have to go more often. She laughed. Nice, Allie, he said with a smile. This is just what you need to recover. You need to ask for help when you need it. I promise to be very professional and will not look at anything inappropriate. You ogres have a unique way with words. I bet those tall ogre women are quite impressed. But Ian, I just don't know, he said, raising his hand. You need help, Allie. It's simple. That's what people do, or at least they should. And really, what else do I need to spend my money on? I'm happy to help. You are special and deserve care, not just for... He pointed downward. Mr. Ogre, you are too much. Can you help me to bed so I can rest for a bit? Then I need to do my exercises, eat, and work on some personal grooming. He assisted her to the bedside, but let her get into bed herself. Ian, before you go, I know this isn't part of the rules, about being professional and all, but can I give you a thank you kiss for everything you've done? What? Sure. He leaned over and shared a gentle kiss with her. She tensed at first, but then relaxed, holding his cheeks as they kissed for a moment before she pulled back. You silly. Get out of here. I'm sorry, Allie. Maybe I misunderstood. You did. She spoke softly. It was supposed to be awkward, but it wasn't. I thought I would dislike it, but I didn't. It was nice. Oh, Ian, I shouldn't have done that, right? He looked puzzled and turned to leave. Wait, try it again, Ogre. He stepped back and kissed her once more. She responded, sighing and wrapping her arms around his neck. Wow, that still felt nice. Ian, what will I do now? Just focus on feeling better, Allie. I'll make you a peanut butter sandwich. Get out! Wait! Where will you sleep, Ian? It's not right for me to take your bed. I got an inflatable mattress. I thought the couch wouldn't be comfortable for me. Plus, I figured your equipment might damage the couch. I'll be fine. Take your nap and I'll prepare something healthy. After your routine, we'll watch some TV together. Early the next morning, he helped her into her chair, helped her get ready, and laid out scrubs for her to wear. We didn't discuss it yesterday, but I bought you some clothes. I got t-shirts, long-sleeved ones, baggy shorts, some sweatshirts, scrubs, and some casual dresses. I got you some underwear, but I couldn't guess your size for the support ones. She wheeled over. Support ones? How interesting. Is that what you call them in North Carolina? I'm a 34C, but maybe I should go shopping with you for them. I could manage without, but then you might get distracted. What's with the old lady underwear? They're practical, Allie. I already feel bad enough about myself. This won't help my self-esteem. I'm sorry, Allie. I can return what doesn't fit and take you to the store for anything else you need. You know our saying, we aim to please. Ali, please stop crying. It's not that important. It is very important, Ian. Nobody has ever given me anything but trouble. They started a routine together. Ali looked for things to do. She tried cooking meals, cleaning, and doing laundry. She began watching videos on his TV about computers, cooking, and other topics. When the sun was warm, she would sit outside and chat with neighbors as they walked by, getting to know them and their pets. But when Ian got home, she said, "Ian, could you take me to work with you? Maybe you could teach me about computers? I've never had a phone or a computer. I'd like to help out. I could greet customers, if I can see them from my chair. And I imagine your office is accessible for everyone," she smiled. "I could answer the phone and take messages too. What do you think?" "Sure, that sounds great." The next morning, she went with him to work. He moved things around to make sure she could get around and showed her the office. "So, this is the computer services office. Very nice. Do you get a lot of people walking in, or are most visits planned?" "Both." She mostly watched, but started to greet people as they arrived. "Allie, I need to see someone quickly. I'll be back in an hour. Please let the visitors know they can come back or take a number, and I will call them, whatever they prefer. Same for the phone. Please write down messages and numbers. There are notepads by the phone and on the counter. If you have questions or issues, just call me. Here's my number." It seemed he left when it was busy. Each visitor received a friendly greeting, an apology, an explanation, and options. When he returned, he brought lunch and a package. He added a box from the back to his bag of supplies, and they ate together. After that, he took care of the customers. She loved it. When they got home, she offered to cook dinner, but he winked and said he would handle it. After dinner, he told her, "Ali, I have a few things for you. First, here's a cell phone. It's really a small computer. I've already saved my number so you can call or text me. I'll show you how to use it. I also added the doctor's number. And here's an iPad, a computer with a bigger screen. I'll teach you how to use that too." "Oh, wow, Ian, this is overwhelming. It's too much. You should take them back." He raised a hand. "It's not a problem, Allie, but to balance things out, I'd like you to help me with my iPad and iPhone issues. I get many calls every day from people who can't figure things out. I'm happy to assist because they could become future customers, but I really don't have the time. Plus, there's no charge for the calls. If you could learn enough to help with those calls, it would be a huge help for me. There's a lot of information online. Once you've got the Apple stuff down, we can move on to the Android world. What do you think? Would that interest you?" "Absolutely. That sounds awesome. I can't wait to learn all of it. Do I get a certificate or something?" He smiled and shook his head. "Sure, Allie, you'll get a certificate or something similar. They're ready for you to join the network here and at work, so if you want to send me a quick message." Later that night, as soon as he laid down, his phone buzzed. "Oh no, what's this? Ian, thank you for everything. I can't repay you, but I will try." This was her first message. Her follow-up messages were going well. She was growing stronger in her skills, spending late nights learning, often after he had gone to sleep. As week 2 rolled around, "Allie, I think it's time you get off the couch. I know you're learning about Apple, but I'm sorry, Ian, what do you want me to do?" He smiled. "How about going to school?" "I think I would really like that, but I can't afford it. My boss only gives me room and board." She smiled back. "Ali, community colleges offer free tuition. Plus, you can do it online or in person. I spoke to someone at a nearby college, and they think you should apply. You'll need to fill out an application online, and we need to get your birth certificate and high school records." Ali, did you finish high school? It's okay if you didn't, but relax, Ian. I finished. Remember, I got my GED? It was tough, but I did it." "Awesome. We'll need those documents, but as a new computer expert, finding them shouldn't be hard for you. Here's my card for any fees. What do you think? They even have computer training courses that lead to a certificate, and we know how much you like those. They fit people who are working, so you won't have to take a lot of extra courses unless you want to. It's starting next week, so we need to hurry." She suddenly hugged him tightly. "Thank you, Ian. Thank you so much. Can I ask, is it wrong to think maybe you like me a little more than just a friend?" "No, Allie, you're not wrong at all. Ian, I'm feeling so much inside, but my mind is all mixed up. I'm just really scared. This is all new to me, and I have a lot of past issues. You deserve someone better. I don't know how to handle this, and I'm worried I'll mess it up. Please talk to me if I'm making mistakes. I really hope you can be patient with me. I've never felt this way about anyone before, and I really don't want to ruin it." "Always remember that," he said, nodding. He gave her a quick kiss. "No worries, Allie. Take your time. You control the pace. Now go online and start that application." Just 3 days later, as the shop was closing, a young woman with short hair walked in. She looked nervous and unsure. Taking 3 deep breaths to calm herself, she walked up to Allie. "Hi, miss. Thank you for coming in. We were just about to close, but how can I help you?" Standing tall, she took a deep breath. "I need to see Ian. It is very important that I talk to him." "Okay, he's in the back. I'll go get him. What should I tell him it's about?" She looked down. "It might be better if you didn't." Then she added, "Wait, you're the girl. Ollie, the girl from the news. That's how I found him after 2 years." "What news?" Ollie asked. "Your picture and story were everywhere. You're the girl Ian saved, right?" "Yes, I guess that's me. Oh, wow. And looking at you, I think you're Sam." She nodded. "Maybe I shouldn't warn him. I'll get him." Allie whispered, "Good luck." She turned away and called, "Ian, there's someone here who really needs to talk to you. Please listen closely." "What?" he asked, stepping out. He froze for a moment, then walked to the counter, keeping a distance between them and not saying anything. She took a deep breath. "Oh, Ian." She reached out her hand toward him, but then let it drop. "Ian, I'm so sorry for what I've done to you. I loved you so much. You were the only man I ever loved, and I still love you. I miss you deeply. Every night I realize how much I wish you were beside me. But how could I have hurt you like this? How could I have thought it was okay? It was wrong. Everything about it was wrong. How? Why?" "I've been going to therapy almost every week since you left, and I still don't have the answers." He continued to watch her silently. "My nights are filled with regret for what I've done. I don't think I'll ever overcome it. When the van was hit for the second time, I didn't know it was you. I promised myself that if I survived, I would be the best wife ever. I meant that. I haven't seen Bo or Rex since that night. I haven't seen anyone." She started to cry, struggling to catch her breath. "I'm not asking for your forgiveness or understanding. I don't deserve them. I just want you to know I'd take your pain if I could. I'd do anything to help you. If you never want to see me again, that's okay. I understand. I feel the pain I caused every day, and I can't imagine what you have to carry. But thank you for letting me at least say I'm sorry. Thank you very much for that." She took a few shaky breaths between her tears. He just stared at her. She hesitated. "Ian, please say something. Let me help you. I can still see the hurt in your eyes." She turned to go, but paused. "But Ian, if you do nothing else, please visit your family. Your mom still cries every day. They hardly talk to Bo and Rex. Those two moved away. Your parents almost separated over this, Ian. Your dad blames your mom for everything. He wanted to tell you from the beginning. My parents are the same. They might end up separated too. Because of my mistakes. Because of what I did." She took a deep breath, overwhelmed with sadness. "Please, Ian. Just say something. Anything. I feel so lost." "What's wrong with you, Ian? For goodness sake, hug her, comfort her, or say something, remember? People helping people, all of that when someone is in need. Ian, you have 2 women who care deeply about you. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. No, wait. I'm not sorry. You have 2 women who care a lot for you. They would do anything. They would give up everything just to ease your pain a little, to bring you back to life. But you won't let us help. I can see the hurt in your eyes. I see it. Sam sees it. I love you so much, but it tears me apart every time I look into those eyes. I feel your pain, but it must be a nightmare in your head, yet you won't let us in. It's been 2 long years, Ian. It's time to face your struggles, time to heal and move on, please." Sam stood there shocked. No one talked to Ian like that. Ian turned his face from Sam to Allie, anger showing on his face. All of his feelings were now visible. He stepped forward and grabbed her shirt, lifting her slightly from the chair. He glared at her. "Do it, Ian. Just do it. I've seen that look before. I know what happens next. I've been there. Just do it. If it will help you even a little. Yell at me, hit me, whatever. Just let it out. You don't understand, Allie. Every night, all I see is my wife, whom I loved so much, being with my brother while the other one is just watching. I can't believe they did that." Sam gasped, feeling the pain of the memory. "You saw us? Oh no, I'm so sorry. A cry of sorrow escaped from Sam as she covered her mouth with her hands, and knowing it had happened while we were together and during my whole marriage. Finding out that your parents knew and never told me. Her parents knew and never told you. It feels like betrayal after betrayal from those you loved and trusted. How should I feel about this? It was terrible, Ian. What happened to you was awful, and it shouldn't happen to anyone, but you need to move on. Don't let the past steal your happiness. He held on tighter and lifted her higher. But the memories, the nightmares. You need to understand. Want to talk about memories? Imagine being hurt on your birthday by someone your mom knew while she just watched and couldn't do anything. She was too far away to help. All she could do was cry. And then she never spoke of it again. So much for that special moment in my life. What about yours, Ian? Imagine getting asked to the junior prom. I liked that boy, and he was the first to see me for who I really am. Think about your dress being torn off and by another of her friends. A friend who then hurt me so badly that I was taken to the hospital, just for fun. The last thing I remember, Ian, is my date knocking on the door and another guy told him to leave. I wasn't going anywhere. He tossed the flowers he brought for me on the ground. That was my last day at school. I never went back. Picture waking up beside your mom, a bit out of it, but already feeling empty and wanting more, wondering how to get what you needed. Opening your eyes to find her staring at you, cold and still, dead, realizing that if you weren't so out of it, you could have saved her. She might still be here with you. She wasn't a great person and took a lot from me. But she was my mom. You want to compare memories, Ian? I have plenty. I bet I could win. Look at my arms and legs, scars everywhere, but I have the same scars inside me. Anywhere I had a vein. I even had to draw my own blood at the hospital because they couldn't find a suitable spot. Then I started my own IV so they could give me medicine until they put a bigger one in my neck when I was asleep. I feel ugly. I'm terrified that one day you'll see all of me and be so turned off that you'll want me to leave. Those scars show who I was, who I can never be again. But you hide your scars under that strong exterior, in that beautiful but confused mind of yours, and in the place where your heart should be. Let us help you, Ian. If not me, then your mom or someone who cares for you. Let someone in! Let someone support you! She was crying harder now. You are holding on to your pain and your hurt more than I ever clung to drugs. Please, Ian, let that go! He kept staring at her, unyielding. She braced herself for his response. She could almost feel the first blow coming, knowing it would hurt her deeply, but the strike never came. He kept holding her shirt and looked at her fiercely, his pain visible. Looking into his eyes, Allie spoke softly, almost like she was barely speaking. I told you I was scared I would make things worse. I really messed up, didn't I? I'm sorry. I'll stay at the store tonight and head back to the center tomorrow. Thanks for everything. I'll find a way to repay you. He loosened his grip and let her slide back into her seat. His expression changed. He seemed to deflate like a balloon. Then he began to cry. For the first time since that night in Carolina, tears came from him. Ian, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Ali, you can't leave. I need you. I might have saved your life, but you are saving me. Everything you said was true. I needed that. If I had hurt you, I wouldn't have been able to live with it. I am really sorry. He bent down and kissed her gently, wiping a tear from her cheek. Turning away, he said, Sam. She flinched. I'm sorry, too. I should have listened to you. We were young and foolish. I should have recognized the signs from the start. We don't get any practice runs in life. No second chances. Maybe we are becoming better people now. I don't know. You can still be a wonderful wife, just not to me. I'm sorry, but that's how it is. She nodded. And I forgive you. He stepped closer and hugged her tightly. She embraced him back and began to cry. Ian, I am so sorry. I ruined everything, and look at how it affected everyone. I don't think anyone ever messed up as badly as I did. But thank you, really. He held her while she cried. Once she was calmer, she let him go. Allie said, Sam, you're a very pretty woman, but right now you look rough. Maybe we all do. The restroom is just around the corner. How about I show you where it is so you can freshen up? Then maybe Mr. Frugal here will take us both out to eat. We need somewhere accessible, of course. I'm really hungry. I'm sure we can all fit in the truck. My gear takes up a lot of space. They moved toward the restroom. In a quiet tone, Allie asked, Wait a second, Sam. Where are you staying tonight? Honestly, I wasn't sure if he would want to see me. I thought it could go so badly that I would want to leave town quickly and cry somewhere else. You were right. It was tough. I was worried I had pushed too many buttons and that something bad might happen. I hope we don't have to face that kind of situation again. Listen, I have an idea. I think you both need more help than just having dinner together. You could join me in my big bed, but you'd have to deal with some awkward things. I'm going through a lot of sheets. He's on an air mattress. I think we could move him to the couch and use the air mattress for you to sleep on. He doesn't realize it yet, but tomorrow is Friday. I'm going to close the store and change his plans. Family issues in Carolina, you know. Allie, thank you, but why are you doing this? I mean, I'm the ex, aren't you two, you know? No, I can't move forward. I'm stuck. That was only our third kiss. You may have heard I have my own problems, but if I have to compete with someone he still cares for, well, it just wouldn't work, right? I care about him a lot, but he needs to choose me, or you, or maybe someone else. Ali, I think he has made his choice, and it's not me. I've been hoping for 2 years that he would love me enough to forgive what I did. But just one look into his eyes made me realize that I can never go back. Ever. She started to cry. One look told me everything. Allie scooted closer and hugged her. That said, I thought you were in trouble when he grabbed you. I've never seen him act that way, and we grew up together. It was scary. I was trying to figure out how to help you. I'm just glad he didn't go after me. I would have been in trouble too. Let me freshen up and we can talk about the ogre. Is that what you call him? Yes, it keeps him grounded. They laughed. They ended up staying up most of the night. It wasn't all easy. Allie had to step in several times, but they mostly enjoyed catching up on their lives and sharing happy memories. Allie spent a lot of time with Sam, exchanging stories. In the end, all three felt better. Ali's mood lifted because she could see Ian starting to smile again. It was the first step towards healing. After breakfast, a very tired Sam declined the invitation to stay and headed out after saying sorry again and thanking them both. There were still feelings of frustration, sadness, and regret that needed to settle away. But they knew healing would take time for both of them. On Monday at work, around midday, the CFO of the hospital called. Ian, we are wasting a lot of money on our computer system and it's not working well. It's too slow, especially in the morning when we have the most activity. I also think we're spending too much on software, hardware, and, well, I believe we need to check what we have, how it's working, how we can do better, and cut down on waste. Is that something you'd like to help with? It could start as a consulting job and maybe turn into something long-term if you're interested. What do you think? Sure, sounds great. You all do a wonderful job for the people in this area. If I can help you do even better and provide great care for patients, I am all in. When can we meet to talk about it? After they set up a meeting, Allie said, Ian, do you realize what this means? This could turn into a full-time job, with benefits and everything. I could assist on the side, but maybe I wouldn't even need to. She hugged him tightly. Ian, this is like a dream for you. I'm so excited. The town really needs you. Even the towns nearby could use your help. Maybe we can find someone to work with you so we can keep it going. I would love to help too, but I need my legs to heal first. You seem unsure. Let's just see what happens. I'll learn a lot in the meantime. Now let's head home and I'll make you a dinner to celebrate. You seem confused. What's with that look? I thought you liked the meal I made yesterday. Well, I didn't need to go to the ER today, and that's a plus. But your extra crispy fried chicken was interesting. Almost like fried chicken chips. Okay, so I overcooked them just a bit. I lost track of time with that old fryer you have. I need better tools to make my meals right. By the way, I used your card to order new pots, pans, a fryer, stove, oven, and even a new toaster. Yours is not doing its job. They're all to blame for my cooking troubles, not me. I can't cook well under these conditions. He laughed. But I have a plan now. Cooking is like writing code. Timing, order, and sequence matter a lot. So I didn't order all those other things, but I did get some timers and thermometers to check the oil and meat temperatures. I'll start using measuring cups and follow the steps they suggest instead of just using what's available. All right, Miss Chef, what delicious meal are you making tonight? Takeout from the pizza place and some deep chocolate brownies from a box mix. Almost foolproof. I can't explain my last batch. After all, I'll have to learn to cook for the kids someday. Ian, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. No pressure. I'm not trying to rush you. I sometimes think too far ahead. He bent down and kissed her. Relax, Allie. I think about those things too. Maybe between 4 and 6 kids, all boys. What? 4 to 6? No way! I want a couple of sweet little girls who can be spoiled by their big, caring daddy. She pulled him down for another kiss and sighed. Ian, all of this scares me. I never loved anyone before, and no one ever loved me. But this weekend was really tough for me. How about you, my big guy? He nodded. Why don't we head home and unwind? Yes, Captain. That pizza is always amazing. Are you going to start making pizza, Ali? Sure. The frozen kind you just take out of the box and cook in the oven for about 10 minutes. I can handle that as long as I use a timer. Oh, and the right temperature, she laughed. Ian, I'm going to take my shower now and then maybe you can help me into bed. I'm feeling pretty tired. I'll call you when I'm ready. After her shower, she dried off carefully and put ointment on her skin. It felt a bit uncomfortable. She reached under the sink and got out a bag she had ordered online. She put on a light top, but decided against wearing the matching shorts since they got caught on her. I really don't like this, she thought. What was I thinking? What if he doesn't like how I look? I hope he's not put off by it all. I better put on more deodorant. I'm feeling a bit sweaty. And if I shave any more, I might hurt my skin. She remembered telling him how she felt, but he hadn't responded. It was like it never happened. They had talked about families, though. Was he serious or just joking? She felt a wave of nerves. Well, here goes. What if he thinks I'm not pretty? What if I mess this up? Ian, could you help me into bed? Ian walked into the room and stopped in surprise. He looked at her but didn't say anything. She felt tears coming. Ian, I'm sorry. I guess I shouldn't have done this. I just thought... She began to turn toward the bathroom. Stop, Allie. Please don't go. I'm the one who should apologize. You look so beautiful and amazing. I guess I just couldn't find the words, he smiled. Actually, I'll just sit on the bed and enjoy looking at you. Honestly, that's not really what I was thinking. But if that's what you want to do, I can try to pose in my wheelchair. Maybe I'll start a new magazine called Wheelchair Models. Sounds fun, right? He laughed. That's unexpected. But I prefer being close, not just looking from afar. Never enjoyed museums for that reason. He picked her up and she wrapped an arm around his neck. Ian, could you please turn off the light? I don't want you to see all my marks. Ali, those marks are part of who you are. You don't need to hide them or feel embarrassed. I want to see all of you. Could you hold me and stay close? I really need that right now. I'd like to feel you beside me. Will you do that? He gently laid her on the bed, settled in beside her, and wrapped his arms around her. He brought his face closer to hers, and they shared a warm kiss. She felt a sense of comfort as she relaxed against him. His strength made her smile inside. Her hands moved slowly, and he responded in kind, his touch becoming firmer, more confident. She pulled away from their kiss and looked up at him. Ian, I think I'm ready. I might hesitate, but it's not because I want to stop, but if you're unsure... He silenced her with another kiss, his hands gently exploring her. She made a soft sound as his touch reached her. A girl could get used to this, she thought, enjoying the warmth of his hand. He smiled, taking her reaction as encouragement, and continued, moving with care. She shifted slightly, letting him get closer. He brushed her cheek and lifted her shirt, slowly revealing her skin. She smiled, feeling a mix of nervousness and excitement. He kissed her neck gently, trailing down to her shoulder while her fingers ran through his hair. Ian, can you take your shirt off? I want to feel closer to you. He obliged, pulling it off. You're all rugged like a bear, she teased. I can change that if you want, he replied, a bit unsure. No way. I like it, she said, running her hand over his chest and pulling him in again. He kissed her softly, sensing her trust in him. She closed her eyes, focusing on the warmth between them. He paused for a moment, checking to see if she was okay. Ali, do you want me to stop? Are you all right? I'm just a bit scared, Ian, she admitted quietly. I've never been treated kindly before. It's always been different. I don't know how to be in this moment. He gently reassured her. You don't need to worry. Just be yourself. If you ever want me to stop, I will. She laughed softly, her worries easing. "Don't you dare stop now. You're doing just fine." They shared another kiss, and she felt a sense of peace wash over her. She was discovering, maybe for the first time, that this could be something safe and meaningful. She gently touched his back and arms, though she could barely reach around him. He's so big, she thought, but she liked how safe and comfortable it felt to be close to him. He gently placed his hand on her, moving slowly with care. His fingers softly explored, and she started to relax, feeling a warmth building inside her. He took his time, making sure she was comfortable, and she began to feel more at ease, her breathing deepening as she leaned into his touch. She clung to him, holding tightly as the moment became more intense, her body responding naturally. He slowed down, giving her space to catch her breath, his attention never leaving her. "Ian," she whispered with a smile, "you make me feel so special." He laughed softly. "It's not time to rush things," he said. She giggled, feeling lighter. "Do you want me to do something for you?" she asked, a little uncertain. "No," he replied gently. "Just relax and enjoy this. I want to take care of you." He moved closer, placing soft kisses along her skin. She tensed up for a moment, feeling a little shy. "Ian, you don't have to do this. You're perfect," he said softly, reassuring her. "Just let me take care of you." His touch was gentle, his attention tender and full of care. She trembled slightly, overwhelmed by the affection she was receiving, and let herself enjoy the moment. The feeling was new for her, and she wasn't sure how to respond, but she could tell he was being kind and patient. She smiled, realizing she could trust him. "This feels so nice," she whispered, her voice soft and relaxed. He stayed with her, never rushing, and when she finally let out a sigh of relief, she felt completely at peace. "Ian, that was something I've never experienced before," she said with a tear in her eye. "Thank you." He kissed her gently and smiled. "There's no need to hurry," he said softly. "I just want you to feel happy." They shared a quiet moment together, holding each other close, both grateful for the trust and care they had found in one another. "Go slow, okay?" "Of course," he reassured her. "I want you to guide me, to be part of this. If you want more, pull me closer. If it's too much, just push me away. It's been a while for me, so I might not last long." "Ready?" She giggled. "You really know how to set the mood, don't you?" she teased. "But seriously, be gentle." She smiled nervously and took his hand, guiding him closer. They both moved cautiously, adjusting to each other, making sure they were comfortable. She laughed softly to herself, thinking about how things might feel easier over time as they both got more used to it. As they continued, she focused on the connection between them, taking her time to get used to the moment. He was careful, checking in with her, making sure everything was okay. She held on to him, feeling safe and cared for. They moved together, slowly at first, finding a rhythm that felt right. She felt a wave of warmth as they connected, and he paused to let her catch her breath. "That feels amazing," she whispered, surprised by the intensity of her feelings. He smiled, slowing down and letting her guide the pace. They moved in sync, and she felt herself relax even more, meeting his movements naturally. As the moment grew more intense, she held on to him tightly, feeling overwhelmed by the closeness they shared. After a few moments, they both slowed down, and she let out a deep breath, feeling calm and content. "Wow, Ian," she said softly. "That was incredible. I've never felt anything like this before." He smiled, holding her close. "I'm glad," he said gently. "I just wanted to make you happy." They stayed like that for a while, both breathing steadily, enjoying the quiet closeness. She teared up, overwhelmed by how special it felt. "Thank you, Ian," she said, her voice soft. "You're the first person who's ever made me feel this way. It means so much to me." He kissed her on the forehead and smiled. "We've got so much more to explore together. This is just the beginning." She laughed softly, feeling lighter. "I can't wait for what's next," she said, a peaceful smile on her face. "I really want to see that." He chuckled. "Out of everything, that's what interests you?" "Sure. You can be close to me anytime you want, but not at work or in public." "Really?" What if I'm hidden and you're talking to someone or on a call? No, I wouldn't be able to focus. Oh, Ian, I care about you so much. She suddenly hesitated. Sorry, Ian. I didn't mean to say that. It's okay if you don't feel the same. No pressure. But I do care about you, Allie. It's fine. I'm sorry I haven't said it before. I guess I've been a little scared, just like you. You do? You really care about me? Oh, Ian, that makes me so happy. I've never felt this way about anyone. She looked down. And no one has ever felt this way about me. Thank you, Ian. Then she brightened. To show my thanks, I'm going to make a cake from scratch and some fried chicken. You don't need to thank me, Allie, especially not with the chicken. I enjoyed it. And they shared a long kiss. But, Allie, I'm really worried that someday I won't be enough and, well, you might leave me like Sam did. I couldn't handle that again. She looked at him wide-eyed. Oh, come on. Just keep being what you are and interrupting, he said. That's what Sam told Bo in the RV. She said I was better than he was and that she cared about me deeply, while she was with him. Oh, Ian. She felt tears welling up. I could never do that to you. Hurting you would hurt me. I couldn't live with myself if I betrayed you. You're a part of me. What happens to you happens to me. Even if something happened and we couldn't be as close as we are now, it wouldn't matter. It's what's in our hearts. She tapped his chest. And what's in our minds? She tapped his forehead. Though sometimes I wonder if there's a lot of fluff in there too. If a disaster struck and only I and one other person were left, the world would end because I wouldn't want to be with him. I'd rather make him fried chicken. Please, Ian, I'm safe with you. I'm yours completely for as long as you want. I worry that I won't be enough smart enough, good-looking enough, young enough, though I guess you're a bit younger than most. What? I'm just a few years older than you. Actually, just 5, I think, right? But Ian, I can only imagine how painful betrayal must have been for you, but if it's like what I feel at night when I think about losing you, I wouldn't know how to go on. I don't know how you managed it. Don't worry, Allie. That's not going to happen. They kissed, sealing their agreement, but she suddenly pulled back. Oh, no. Ian, what was I thinking? Tomorrow you have to take me to the store to get a pill. How careless was I? It's less than a week since my last period, so it should be okay. But I read those things can linger for a while. Ian, I couldn't put you in a tough spot. Calm down, Allie. The chances are low. If it happens, well, we'll be ahead of schedule for those 6 kids you talked about, Ian teased. Are you serious? Allie laughed, leaning forward to kiss him, but her movements were awkward, and she accidentally bumped him. Ouch! He exclaimed. I'm sorry. These braces make everything so difficult. I can't wait to get them off. They ruin all the spontaneous moments, she said, frustrated. Remember, Allie, the next step is long leg casts, not freedom. Those will be even harder, Ian reminded her. Maybe not. I won't be able to get them wet, so I guess you'll have to help me wash up here. And there, she joked, her voice playful. I'm so happy you found me in the woods, even if it meant getting hurt. It was worth it. But no baby yet, she quickly added. Pharmacy tomorrow for some precautions, then we can think about all that later. And once I get on the pill, I'll be good to go. I've never been to the doctor for this kind of thing before, though, she admitted, suddenly nervous. What if they find something wrong? Relax, Allie, Ian reassured her. If anything happens, I'll just carry you back up the trail and leave you for the bears, he teased with a grin. With a jar of peanut butter, right? She quipped back. 2 weeks later, she got her stitches out, and 6 weeks after that, things were healing well. But because both legs were still fragile, the doctor decided to keep the external fixator in place for another 3 months. Finally, she returned to the hospital, had the hardware removed, and received long leg casts. These were much worse than the external device. At 6 months, the casts came off, and Ali started physical therapy to regain her strength and learn to walk again. She had lost a lot of muscle during the time in the casts, and walking with canes gave her more stability. My legs are so skinny now. They look like sticks, she thought. She knew she had a lot of work ahead to get strong enough to hike with Ian again. During her recovery, she was attending virtual college, taking almost a full course load. Ian had transitioned to a full-time role at the hospital, and he'd been offered the position of Administrative Director of Computer Services for the hospital system and its affiliated offices. Ali ran their computer services business from home, handling most of the repairs and tech issues, but whenever something was too complicated, Ian helped after hours. One evening, Ian stepped out of the shower, dried off, and started putting on shorts. Ali grinned and called out, honey, you need to come lie down next to me." He joined her and she kissed him, making him smile. "Ian, my software needs an update," she said playfully. "It's running too many error codes." She giggled, teasing him. "We need to reboot your system and fix the glitches." Ian chuckled. "Really, Ali?" he asked, clearly amused. She laughed, thumping him lightly on the chest. "Stop bouncing around so much. You're making me feel like we're in an earthquake or something." They both laughed, enjoying the light-hearted moment together. "Are you talking dirty?" "Yeah, but you're not meant to laugh. You're supposed to say something sweet like, 'Oh, you make me feel so good.'" Laughing. "Oh, you make me feel so good." "Wait, what's happening here, Ian?" "What do you mean?" "He can't relax until I'm finished with him, and I'm not finished." She got off and gently touched him to bring him back to strength and climbed back up. "Ian, he will need a little discipline for letting himself relax. That's not allowed. I'm going to take it real slow. Fast enough to keep him strong, but not too fast at all." She moved slowly up and down. "So, he will have to wait for a while." "All right, Ali, but you know this isn't the best choice. Besides, we might just change things up." He pulled her down against him and started to move at a quick pace. "That's not fair. Let go, you big guy." Then, laughing, "Oh, Ian, I care about you so much. You'll never guess." And kissed him. "Okay, you win. Do what you want with me." He turned her onto her back and moved deeply. "But I think I need a little restart over. Move. And over. Move. And over again. Move. Oh, here come so many good feelings coming your way. Lots of little joys filling you up." They both laughed and held each other. "Oh, Ian, thank you for caring about me. I enjoy every moment with you and miss every second you're away. Now, time for a little reset." One day, right after they had healed up, "Ian, it's time for you to go back to Carolina and make things right with your family, or at least talk to them again. You can't move on if you don't face it. They made some real mistakes. They hurt you badly, but remember what Sam said. Your mom loves you, and this is hard on her too, just like it is on you. It's been over 2.5 years. Please." "Ali, I don't know." "Please, Ian, I want to meet them. You know how people say, 'Take me home to meet your family'? Please?" "All right. If I'm going to visit my family, you have to come with me." "What? Really, Ian? You want me to meet your family? But what if I say something wrong? What if I embarrass you? What if they don't like me? Oh no, what should I wear? What if they don't think I'm right for you? What if—" "Enough, Ali. Don't worry about it. It will be fine. They will like you a lot, but even if they don't, I really don't care. What matters is that I love you. But you're right. Before I take you home, I should make it official." He got down on one knee and held out a small black box with a ring inside. "Ali, will you do me the honor of being my wife?" Tears filled her eyes as she held up her hands. "Whoa, big guy. I need to talk to you first." Concern and disappointment showed on his face. His shoulders drooped. "No, Ian, I used 7 words, not the 4 dreaded words. I love you, and I know that you love me deep down. I've looked into your heart and I believe I understand you. You have seen into mine, and I believe you understand me too. But Ian, I'm not perfect. Look at me. I'm loud, I swear a lot, and I can't seem to know when to stop talking. Sometimes I'm all over the place. I know my ups and downs might drive you crazy while you stay calm and steady. I get too excited and happy, and I know that might annoy you. Sometimes you just sit there shaking your head in disbelief. I may never be able to sit on the couch and enjoy a beer while watching the game peacefully. I'm a handful, that's the bad news, but I promise you this, no one will ever love you as much as I do. No one will work as hard every day to make you happy and keep our love strong. I will always strive to improve myself, knowing that perfection takes a lifetime. And one thing is for sure, I will never do anything to hurt you on purpose. You will never have to worry about me being unfaithful or betraying you in any way. My heart is yours and yours alone forever. No one else will ever come between us. So, Ian, that's the kind of woman I am. If you accept all of this and want me, then ask me again. Ali, will you do me the honor of being Mrs. Ian Turner? Yes! 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 She stumbled forward, managing her canes, and hugged him tightly, then gave him a quick kiss. Oh, Ian, I will work hard to make you happy, and I promise to try to win your parents over. If you want 6 little boys one day, I'll do my best, though no promises on that. And tomorrow, let's go to the tattoo shop. What for? I'm going to get a big tattoo right here that says special for Ian only, with a big arrow pointing to my heart. What do you think? I think I love you, Ali. So, I'll make us a special dinner. No. That's a nice thought, but I have reservations at that restaurant we wanted to try. I guess that was a hint about my cooking? She laughed. Oh, Ian. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You've made me happier than ever. Dinner was delightful. There was a dance floor, and he asked her to dance slowly. Ian, I can't dance with these canes. I'll look silly and I might fall. Before she could finish, he lifted her from her seat and carried her to the dance floor, holding her so her feet never touched the ground. Like a little kid, she wrapped her arms around his neck and rested her head on his shoulder. Oh, how I love you, Ian Turner. We need to head home soon, and I want to show you how much that means to me. And now that I'm feeling better, maybe you can share some of those things you mentioned before. What do you think, my strong man? They kept busy late into the night. When he woke up the next morning, she was admiring her ring. I never thought this would happen, Ian, she said with a smile. I never imagined that anyone, especially someone like you, would love me. Well, except for that prince who was supposed to save me in the mountains. Thank you. She pulled back the covers. Now let me see that ring of yours. I can't believe it. You're still curious about that, aren't you, Ali? Go ahead, check it out. Unless, he teasingly suggested. No, I'll have my fun first, then we can do it your way. Later, she said, Ian, you should really go home for Thanksgiving. I have a break from school. We could fly to Raleigh for a few days. Sam mentioned that they'd be all alone. You should call and see if it's all right. You talked to Sam? He asked. Yes, I did. I hope you're not upset about it. I just wanted to check in for you, and Sam wants to help you reconnect with your family. You have to do this sometime, Ian. Let's just get it over with. It feels like the last big step, right? Call your mom, please. I don't know if I can, Ali. What would I even say? Maybe we should just show up. No way, big guy, that wouldn't be right. You can't back out. Even I know that's not the way to go. How about this? I could call her and let her know. But my mom doesn't even know who you are. Of course she does. Sam's mom still chats with her, and Sam has told them all about me. How do you know that? Come on, computer boy, it's called texting. Maybe you've heard of it? You text Sam? Yeah, we keep each other updated on what's happening. You should see my plans for when we visit. You have plans? Not yet, but I will once we talk to your mom. You know, your mom cries often, just like Sam said. She asks for forgiveness every Sunday. She's lost 3 sons over this, Ian. Imagine how hard that is for her. At least give her a chance. We can always leave if it doesn't go well. Let me help. Okay, Ali, I guess I have to face this eventually. Go take a walk. I'll be nervous enough talking to her without you hovering around. Just go. She smiled, and he left. Get it together, Ali. Stay calm and be grown up. Hello, Mrs. Turner. This is Ali Spencer. You don't know me, but I know who you are, Ali. Sam says wonderful things about you. How can I help you? If it's all right with you and Mr. Turner, Ian and I would like to visit Raleigh for a few days over Thanksgiving. We could come. She heard a gasp on the other end. Mrs. Turner, are you okay? Ali, oh, Ali, is it really possible this is your idea? Yes, it is, but it needs to be done. He won't feel better until he returns home and finds some peace, she said, her voice shaking. He made you call? Yes, ma'am. Does he know you're calling? Yes, ma'am. I made him step outside so he wouldn't worry me. Oh, Ali, if you can make this happen, there is so much I want to say. I need to start with an apology. Thank you, Ali. I can't wait to meet you. Please tell him how sorry I am, how much I love him, and how much I miss him. She seemed to be crying, and hearing that made Ali emotional too. Mrs. Turner, he loves you too. He's just feeling a bit overwhelmed. You know how men can be. I'm sorry, Mrs. Turner. I sometimes use the wrong words. Allie heard a chuckle on the other end. If he can forgive Sam, he can forgive you too. I just don't know about his brothers. He won't talk about them at all. You would be so proud of what he has done here. His computer repair shop is doing really well, and the hospital wants him to manage their computers full time. Many doctors' offices too. There's so much to tell you. I'll text you the details, but we can probably rent a car at the airport. He said you're just about an hour from there. I've never flown before, but I hear there can be many delays during the holidays. But there's just one thing, Mrs. Turner. I know you're his mom and want what's best, and I don't want to overstep. I'm not sure that I know what's best, Allie. That's why we're in this situation. Please tell me what you think. Can you make sure it's just you and Mr. Turner? Please, no friends, family, Sam, or her parents. And no Bo and Rex, right? Exactly. I'm really sorry, Mrs. Turner. I think if we arrive and there are other people or a gathering of any kind, he might just leave. Would that be okay? Maybe we can try again another time? Allie, at this point you know him better than I do. I will do whatever you suggest, anything at all if you can bring him home. Great. I'll see you soon, Mrs. Turner. I'm looking forward to meeting you. Thank you, Allie. From what Sam says, it sounds like you're exactly what he needs. Really, thank you. That was quite a walk, Ian. I didn't mean for you to walk all the way to Kansas. Your mom and I have been sharing cookie recipes for Christmas. Really? Ian, did you bump your head or something? No, we weren't swapping recipes. She was crying, wanting me to tell you how sorry she is, how much she loves you, and how much she misses you. This is the right thing to do. He nodded. They checked in at the kiosk and then navigated through the long lines for screening. Allie was pulled out of line and spent almost 20 minutes with a female TSA agent, who called over 2 other agents. They kept glancing at Ian and smiling. Finally, they gave her a thumbs up and let her go. Wow, Allie, what did you have in your bag? I thought they were going to keep you there forever. They even called over other people to check it out, and your face is so red. Are you okay? Nothing. I'm fine. You didn't tell me they check all the carry-on stuff? I had that gadget you gave me. Your toy? Ian started laughing. No wonder everyone was interested. Well, that's a funny story for them. Ian, I was so embarrassed. Why didn't you tell me? It was awful. I didn't even know what she was looking at. Then she called over 2 others. I'm tossing it at your mom's house, or we're driving it back home. Maybe your mom wants it. He chuckled. You know, you are awful. I don't think I can talk to you until all this red fades away. That might take until Raleigh. Quit laughing. I can't believe someone would bring that in their carry-on bag. Looks like we'll be in different rooms at your mom's. That's why I brought it. My special thing needs attention. You've created a monster. As they prepared for takeoff, Allie was gripping Ian's arm tightly, her knuckles white. She squealed when the pilot began the rapid acceleration, pushing her back into her seat. She loved it. Oh, Ian, this is amazing. Look at the ground. The houses are getting so small. I love this. We should fly all the time. You better make a lot of money, but I'll help. I'm getting pretty good at the store. She was just as excited during landing. After getting their rental car, they drove for about an hour to Ian's home. You know, Ian, I got my license now so I could drive. It's my first one. I never needed it before. The driver's test was tough for me, but you taught me well. All right, we're here. Time for the next step. You have to get out of the car, Ian. We can't just sit here and chat. As soon as Ian got out, his mom rushed down the steps to greet him. She opened her arms for a hug, but paused. Ian, I'm so sorry for what I did. I broke your trust, and I'm really sorry. I should have done something about it, but at first I wasn't sure. Then I hoped they would stop, and then it was too late. I hoped you wouldn't find out. I was wrong about everything. It's okay, Mom. I should have guessed what was happening anyway. It's done now. Allie nudged him forward, and he saw his mom still looking down at the ground. He stepped forward and wrapped his arms around her. Oh, Ian. She cried and rested her head on his chest. I'm so sorry. I love you so much, and I've missed you. After they pulled apart, she smiled and said, And this must be Allie. Ian, she's beautiful. Ali, nice to meet you, as she stepped in for a hug. Ali welcomed her despite holding her canes. Don, stop standing there. Go hug your son and say hello to Allie. There were 5 steps leading into the house. Ian walked ahead with his family as he noticed her hesitating. She could walk, but after being mostly still for almost 6 months, she was still a bit stiff and weak. "Hang on, Allie." Ian ran down the steps, picked her up along with her bag, and carried them into the house as if they were light. Then he set her down gently. Allie noticed Ian's mother observing them, and then looked over at Allie. "Yes, Mrs. Turner, there are some perks to dating someone strong. He's great at carrying in the groceries, too, but to be fair, he eats most of them." They all laughed together. They spent the afternoon talking casually, catching up without diving into anything serious. Not even a mention of Bo or Rex. Dinner was one of Ian's favorites, meatloaf with baked sweet potatoes and pecan pie. "You know, Mom, Allie is a really good cook. Her specialty is fried chicken." Allie blushed and said, "As you probably know, Mrs. Turner, your son can be a bit silly sometimes. But he's right. I'm not the best cook. I've just never had the chance. I do think he'll agree that I can manage a frozen pizza and instant brownies, but only if I remember to set a timer and the right oven temperature." Everyone laughed again. "That was a wonderful meal, Mrs. Turner. Could you share your recipe? It's just a big hamburger with some breadcrumbs, right? I think I can manage that. Let me help you with the cleanup while they talk about football or politics or whatever," she whispered. "Just watch, Mrs. Turner. You know, guys, I don't know if you're keeping up with football, but I'm not too happy about this season. My Broncos aren't doing well. They're 3-7, and that player from Seattle has been a big letdown. But before you start celebrating, Don, Carolina's 3-8, and you've gone through 3 quarterbacks this season. It's rough for you all, too. Do you watch college football? I'm not sure who you like, Don, but UNC and Duke are looking good. The Wolfpack and Wake, not so much. Wake was really strong last year. It's tough. They lost a lot of seniors, but it probably doesn't matter since Clemson will likely take the ACC again. But none of that matters, right, guys? My team, the Georgia Bulldogs, will win the national championship again. But tomorrow, there will be lots of games to watch after the parade, of course. Are you guys interested in this?" The 2 men just stared at her as she walked away. "Ali, I had no idea you knew anything about football." "I'm a woman with many sides, Ogre Boy. What's a girl supposed to do when she's alone at the office and her boyfriend is having fun at the hospital with all those nurses?" His mom had a funny look on her face. "Sure, Allie, I'd love the help," she whispered. "How do you know about football?" Allie laughed. "I know nothing about it. I just looked it up before we left. I was just waiting for the right time to share that. Thankfully, they didn't ask me anything else because I really don't know anything more." They both chuckled. Allie started running water in the sink to wash the dishes and rolled up her sleeves. Then, she heard a gasp next to her, and a dish fell to the floor, breaking. "Here, let me help, Mrs." She bent down to pick up the pieces and saw Mrs. Turner staring at her. She recognized that look. She had seen it many times. Looking down, she noticed her scars were showing. She felt embarrassed and started to tear up, unable to face Mrs. Turner. She slowly stood up and placed the pieces on the counter, still looking down. Tears filled her eyes and rolled down her cheeks. She quickly wiped them away. "Are you still using?" No, Mrs. Turner. Not for about 18 months. Not since my mom passed away next to me. No drugs, no alcohol, nothing but a bit of coffee. Never again." "Does Ian know?" She nodded, glancing at Mrs. Turner with questions in her eyes. "But how do you know?" "Since Ian left, I've been volunteering at the homeless shelter. Ali." Ali wiped her tears, stopped staring at the ground, stood tall, took a deep breath, and looked Ian's mom directly in the eyes. "Please, Mrs. Turner, I know I'm the last girl any mother would want for her son. My mom and I both struggled with addiction, and I grew up without a home. I have nothing. Everything I own, Ian bought for me. I can never thank him enough for what he's done for me. I felt lost, but I got my GED. I'm in community college now, and I help run the shop while your son transitions to the hospital. I owe him my life. You would be so proud of what he has accomplished, but none of that seems to matter. I lay alone for 2 days thinking it was over for me. He woke me up. When I looked into those bright blue eyes of his, I was deeply moved. I was his heart, mind, and spirit. He could have just left me there, and I would have been happy just to have seen those eyes one more time. But he saved me. He really did. But there was pain and sadness in those eyes too. A deep loneliness. I felt so lonely. I knew I had to make him smile, to help him laugh, to bring some joy back into his life. It wasn't easy, but I think I've managed. Meeting Sam was a big step for both of us, and I thought it might be our last moment together. Mrs. Turner nodded and said, "Sam told me about that." Actually, there were two situations with the name Sam. My full name is Samantha Allison. When he asked me my name and I said Sam, he looked shocked, like he might run away, so I quickly changed it to Ali. The other Sam was from here. I thought I was in trouble and he might send me away. This was the next step toward healing and forgiveness. He's in a better place now. I don't think Bo or Rex will ever return. He won't even talk about them. But who knows? Maybe in a few years. When I brought it up, he said it's often the ones we care about the most that hurt us the deepest. Chris sighed and covered her face with her hands. "No, Mrs. Turner. I'm so sorry." "That's okay, Allie. He's right about that. What we did to him is hard to forgive. I can't believe we all hid the truth from him. Thank you for bringing him back to us." Allie nodded. "So, Mrs. Turner, I have a difficult past. I'm not perfect. But no one could love your son more than I do. I am working every day to be the person he needs, to earn his love. I feel his absence deeply when he's not with me. I will never hurt him or betray his trust. We are connected, and hurting him would be hurting myself." Mrs. Turner flinched. "Oh, Allie, I didn't mean for you to feel that way. I'm sorry." She started to cry. "I know I'm not perfect, but he's perfect for me, and I strive to be the woman he deserves." Mrs. Turner stepped forward and embraced her. They both cried together. Stepping back, Mrs. Turner said, "Ali, you are perfect for him. Thank you for everything, for bringing him back into our lives." She took Allie's hands in hers and then paused. "What's this? Are you two engaged?" Allie nodded. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Turner. I told him to tell you right away, but he wanted to wait for the right time. I could barely keep the news to myself. I had warned him about my imperfections and that I might frustrate him at times. But he wanted to move forward regardless. He makes me really happy, even if he can be a bit silly sometimes. I have a good feeling about your future together, Ali. Welcome to our family. I hope you'll feel at home with us." They hugged again. "And I assume you two are." Ali nodded. "Then you should consider sharing a room." Feeling shy, Ali replied, "Oh no, I couldn't do that. It wouldn't feel right. Ian wouldn't approve." "Oh my gosh, and after what happened at the airport?" "You'll have to tell me about that. Just come by after we all go to bed. I think this isn't easy for him and he will need some support." She whispered, "Don't mention it, but his father and I lived together for almost a year before we got married. I know he thinks, like many sons do, that we only had a few special moments, but his dad was quite the charmer." She winked, smiling. "So how would you say it, Allie? Let's get these dishes done?" "Oh, Mrs. Turner, It's fine, Allie. Please call me Chris. Now, tell me about what happened at the airport." Allie reached over and touched Chris's arm. "Oh, Chris, I can't. It was so embarrassing." "Allie, with that kind of intro, you have to share it." "Well, I've never been on an airplane before, and I thought Ian and I would be in separate rooms. I thought it would be kind of awkward, so I packed something in my carry-on. And you packed a personal item in your carry-on?" Chris covered her mouth to hide a laugh, and soon they were both giggling like old friends sharing a secret. "Sounds like your mom cares about you, son. And I'm glad she's good for you, Ian, even if it was a strange situation at first. She's helped me a lot more than you can imagine. Look, son, I'm sorry. We should have told you when we first heard about things going on, but it's okay, Dad. It's in the past. We've all learned a lot from it. Let's just move on. Thank you, Ian. I promise you, nothing like that will happen again. I will always be honest with you, especially when you need to hear it." They laughed together. "Now let's not take this honesty thing too far, Dad." And from another room, in quiet tones, "And then she took it out and turned it on. I thought it would echo in the whole place, and everyone looked at me. I was so embarrassed. I felt my face turn red. She puts it away and says, 'Nice. Where did you get that?' I told her. She even called some of the other agents over. I was dying. One of them looked at me, then at Ian, and said, 'What's this about?' So I told her I was visiting his family. She said, Hope you brought extra." Finally, they all looked at me and then at Ian, gave a wink, a thumbs up, and said, "Have a great trip." Oh my gosh, Chris, I felt frozen. I didn't think I could move when Ian called me. In that deep voice, he asked, "Is everything okay?" Of course it wasn't. They both laughed hard. "Oh, Allie, better you than me. Now tell me about this ogre stuff. I couldn't figure out what Sam was talking about." Well, I had been lying down for 2 days with 2 broken legs. I was kind of daydreaming, imagining a handsome blonde-haired prince waking me with a gentle kiss. Later, when everyone was in bed, Chris heard the familiar tap of canes on the floor and smiled. That girl has spirit, she thought. I'm going to love having her around. Dawn, wake up, she whispered. Huh? What is it, Chris? He replied groggily. I hope you're feeling strong because we've got some important things to take care of. What? No way. The kids are right next door. They're probably busy with their own things, Chris teased. Ian wouldn't. Dawn started. No, Ian's like his dad, too much of a rule follower, but she's not. I saw her sneak across the hall just like I used to do when we stayed at your parents' house. I'm pretty sure they had those creaky old beds on purpose. And your mom would walk around with that knowing smile when we were all red-faced with embarrassment. Dawn chuckled. You've got a point there. Now come on, Chris said, leaning in for a kiss. Let's pretend we're young again. Meanwhile, Allie tried to sneak across the hallway as quietly as possible. Darn these canes, she thought, as they tapped softly on the floor. She opened the door to Ian's room and tiptoed over to his bed. Ian, she whispered, but he didn't stir. He sleeps like a rock. She slid under the blanket next to him, snuggling close. This is where I belong, she thought, feeling comforted by his warmth. What's going on? Ian murmured, waking up. Shh, Ian, be quiet, or you'll wake your parents. I just wanted to be close to you after such a long day. I don't know, Allie, Ian said, still half asleep. Relax, she whispered, her voice gentle. We're just spending time together. Your mom said they still have moments like this, even now. You're making that up. My mom doesn't even talk about stuff like that, Ian muttered. Allie giggled softly. Well, maybe not in so many words, but they're probably across the hall, just enjoying each other's company. Isn't that sweet? Ian groaned. I'd rather not think about that, honestly. Allie laughed again, nudging him playfully. You're impossible. I love you more than anything. You know that, right? I love you too, Ian said, smiling in the dark. They both lay there in silence for a moment, enjoying the peace of the night. Allie sighed contentedly. You always make me feel safe. That's what I'm here for, Ian replied, pulling her closer. Stop talking now. They fell asleep holding each other. When the sun came up, Allie quietly went back to her room, making Chris smile again. I think I'm really going to like her. Breakfast is ready. Come get these waffles while they're still warm. Allie, how did you sleep last night? She turned red and looked down. Just fine. The bed was very comfy. Chris winked at her, which made her blush even more. So you two, Dawn asked, not noticing anything. When's the big day? They both started to answer at the same time, but then stopped. We haven't decided yet. Actually, we haven't talked about it. I'd be okay with getting married today, but I'm not sure what Ian thinks. Well, yes, we should talk it over. Decide when, where, and who. My idea is to keep it simple. Your mom wanted a big wedding. It was nice, but also a lot of work. Ali, do you have a lot of family to invite? That will help figure things out. Ali's eyes filled with tears. She grabbed her napkin and stood up. I'm sorry. I think something got in my eye. Please, start without me. She quickly went to her room. Dawn looked confused. Chris and Ian both stood up. Ian, you stay here. Let me talk to her. Chris knocked on the bedroom door, but didn't wait for a reply. Allie was sitting on the bed with a pillow on her face. Chris sat beside her and touched her back. Ali? Allie put the pillow down and hugged Chris tightly. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ruin breakfast. It's okay, Allie. What's wrong? Still holding on, she said. I have no one. No one but Ian, and now maybe you two. I don't know any family. People like me never had friends. Everyone just looked out for themselves. The closest person I have to a friend is Sam, and I can't invite her. That wouldn't be fair. I know Ian might want a big wedding, but all I can think about is a crowded side for the groom and an empty side for the bride. I can't ask Ian to get me a dress or pay for all the expenses. The bride's family is supposed to help with that. We need to save money for our future. I don't know what to tell him. I'll do whatever he wants, but I think we could just go to the courthouse. I already feel like we're married. Honestly, Allie, I'm not sure what he'll want either. His last wedding was a big event, so he might want to keep this one simple. Just know we support whatever you two decide. We'd love to be there rather than have you elope, but it doesn't matter if it's a small gathering or in a church. Whatever works for you two. What if his family or friends come? It's your special day, Allie, not theirs. Look, I'll send him to talk to you and you two can work it out. How does that sound? Thanks, but I need to clean my face first. Let's get back to breakfast. Ian and I can talk about it later. Thanks, Chris, for understanding. They returned to their breakfast. I'm sorry, Dawn, I've got my act together. Honey, can we talk about a few things after breakfast? Great. Now pass those waffles over here. I'm really hungry. If your son had a waffle maker that worked right, I know I could make these myself. They all chuckled. Later, Allie looked a bit sad. The tears were about a wedding, right? She nodded. And if I'm right, it's because I have a lot of family and you don't? She nodded again. Look, if you want a big wedding with a dress, flowers, cake, and a celebration, we can do that. But I don't need all that. I had that once, and look how that turned out. Simple is just fine. It would be nice to have it back home. I need to invite my family too. They should see where we live and the business we run. But this is about you and me. It's about making promises to each other until the end. Especially the part where the wife pledges to support her husband. I don't think that's part of the vows. You're sometimes wrong, like bad computer code, so I might have to do things my way to get them right. Give me a kiss, you big guy. So when we get back, let's work out the details. Whatever you want, Allie. I just want you, Ian, that's all. We could use the justice of the peace with your family as witnesses. I'd like a simple white dress, not a fancy bridal gown, and some plain gold rings. Deal. Let's figure out the dates. What about a honeymoon? Well, being with you feels like a honeymoon every day. But there's the business problem. We can't just leave for a week. The hospital needs you, and the town needs me, or you, depending on what's happening. Wait, there are some really smart people in my classes, especially Ron. He's smart, but very practical. He can talk to people like a normal person, not just in computer language. He knows all about games and the machines that run them, which neither of us really understands. We could offer more services and even sell those gaming machines. Ian, this is exciting. So many possibilities. What if I talk to him about joining us? We could give him a month to settle in and see how it goes. But Ian, can we get married first and have the honeymoon later? I want to be Mrs. Turner as soon as possible. And I'd love to have a little girl with your charm as soon as we can. If we're moving toward marriage, can I stop my birth control and we can start a family? Only if you want to. We don't have to rush into it. I don't want you to feel pressured. But you know, Ogre, those swimmers of yours aren't getting any younger, and that prostate may be baseball-sized by now. And if you want 6. Thoughts, Ian? Ouch! And here I thought I still had a couple of years before needing help in retirement. Sounds like you've been thinking a lot, Allie, about a whole bunch of things. I'm sorry, Ian. Ideas have been forming in my mind, and I wanted to talk to you. I think they're great ideas. You have a better business mind than I do, Allie. Maybe we could even open another office in Pinnacle or somewhere. We could help the local businesses there, and we'll need a few associates since you'll be busy a lot for the next decade or so. Better enjoy my beautiful self now, fella, because things will change once the little ones arrive. Are you okay with that? Sure, as long as you can handle things when I need it. I still can't believe you're so fascinated by that. Just because you've been doing that for so long, it feels the same to you. For me, it's still pretty new. Boys are lucky. All I deal with is discomfort every month. Well, and some good moments that are way better than yours. On second thought, I'll stick with mine. In any case, I'm sure there are still plenty of other options. I read that since I'm smaller and you're so big, I will likely need sections, so my special area stays special. Lucky you. Ian, I didn't take my pill this morning. Could we start working on the first child? Smiling. Only if it's a boy. Semester break came and Ron started working. He fit in well and covered a lot of business in Dillard, giving the couple some time off. At Christmas, Ian and Ali took a few days. Ron handled things and even worked until noon on Christmas Eve for last-minute computer and gaming sales. Ian's parents arrived a few days early and stayed at a bed and breakfast in town since there wasn't much room in the apartment. They made the visit and Christmas special. They went sledding and skating, decorated a big tree, and the apartment was fully festive. The town always went all out, with every shop ready for the season. Ali made stockings for each of them and filled them with treats. They all attended the Christmas Eve service and celebrated together. Like Ian, they loved the area and the mountains, although because of the snow covering everything, there wasn't much chance to explore. They couldn't believe the business and everything the couple was achieving. They left on the 1st, and then it was back to work. Ali walked into the office with a determined look after visiting a client. "Hey, Ron, is Ian here?" "Yeah. He's in the back fixing something, maybe batteries or a hard drive." "Thanks." She walked into the back and closed the door. "Ian, we need to chat." "What did you mess up now, Ali? You only call me Prince when things aren't right, kind of like my mom using all my names." "You silly. Why do I love you, my prince? I mean, my dear, there are no problems, just solutions." "Oh, no. You're not expecting a baby, are you?" "No, Ian, I wish, but not this time. First, we need to talk about the business. Ron is doing really well, don't you think?" He nodded. "He's excited, smart, and loves using his computer skills. He's great with the customers and has already helped our business grow, especially in Dillard, right?" He nodded again. "I want to give him 5% of the business as long as he keeps working with us. That percentage could grow each year he stays up to 33%. 1/3 mine, 1/3 yours, and eventually 1/3 his. This way he does better as we both do better. We're building the business together and he feels more valued. Agreed?" He nodded. "And if we don't do this, he might leave and start his own business that will compete with ours. I'm sure you see that?" "Good idea. Let's go for it. What's with all this agreed talk?" "I read a book about negotiating, and that's one of the tips they suggest." "Oops. I guess I shouldn't have told you that. Now, about the personal stuff." "No, Ali. We can't talk about that with Ron right out there." "Not that, silly. Although I could probably get him to laugh quietly. I want to talk about the wedding. I have a plan. First, I want it to be soon, like in a month. You agree, right?" "Yes, but come on." She laughed. "What? Scared you'll say yes to more than you want?" "Second, I want your family to be there and anyone else you want." He nodded. "And I know it's winter and I'm thinking about February, and I know it could be tricky, but I want to get married where we first met, at the bottom of the rocks. I checked with the state park people, and we can get special permission to take snowmobiles along the trail. It should only take a few hours to get there instead of 2 days or more, depending on how your family does. You following me?" He looked at her without saying anything. "I'll take that as a yes. I've already looked into the rentals. With snowmobiles, we can pull sleds with tents, food, a stove, whatever we need. We can have a big tarp to sit on. I'll wear my white dress and feel like a snow queen, with flowers in my hair and a bouquet of evergreens for when I marry my prince. Ian, I just don't want to wait until summer, please?" He still looked unsure. "And it won't cost much, Mr. Tightwad." "What about a minister, Ali? Do we think someone will come to the woods with us in February? In the Rockies? Ali, we could end up like the people at Donner Pass." "Oh, stop being so dramatic. We know how to keep warm in the winter. If it gets too bad, we'll just come home. There aren't any steep hills, so no worries about avalanches or anything like that." "But who will perform the ceremony?" "Well, our state lets us marry ourselves. It's called solemnization. Can you believe it? As long as we send in the right papers within 60 days after the ceremony, along with a payment, we'll be married. I don't think your family would agree to that, though. Our state also allows someone who is ordained by that online church to officiate the ceremony. Ron has said he'd do it if we cover the cost. He could either stay with us overnight or head back home afterward." "Okay." "No, Ian, I really think this could work. Wait, did you just say okay?" She rushed forward and hugged him tightly. "Thank you, thank you, thank you. This month I'll only be preparing for a possible baby boy, but after that I'll focus on the other option. And to be on the safe side, I will use a method to help with that." "Thanks, Ian. Oh, and by the way, your family is coming the first weekend in February. I've arranged their flights and rental car. I also set up snowmobile rentals, winter camping things, and have a list of food and supplies we'll need. I have everything organized on my Excel sheet. Aren't you impressed?" He shook his head. So I guess you thought your new negotiation skills would convince me? Well, I know you want to make me happy, and you said it didn't really matter to you. Plus, I have a few surprises planned. I just really want to be Mrs. Ogre Turner as soon as we can. I know things are more relaxed these days, but I don't want to be uncomfortable when we get married. You mean you're just going to let things go? Ian, I'm not going to respond to that. I think you're the one showing signs of enjoying my cooking. I'm so excited. I just can't wait. I promise I will do my best to make you happy. Relax, Allie. Give me a kiss. No, wait. Not here. Oh, come on. It'll only take a minute. Just let me know when you're ready and I'll make sure no one sees. Then we can get back to work like nothing happened. Nice and easy. Now let me at that zipper. You deserve a little treat. As they left, she gave Ron a thumbs up and a smile. Go get ordained, Minister Ron. That poor guy. He never had a chance, did he, Ali? Nope. They arrived at the parking lot at the trailhead early in the morning. The sky was clear with just a few gray clouds drifting over the mountains and dropping a light snow now and then. The weather was mild, with temperatures in the 30s and no harsh conditions expected for the weekend. They had gotten lucky. 3 snowmobiles each had a sled attached, ready for their adventure. Ian and Allie led the way, followed by his parents in the middle and Ron at the back, watching over Ian's folks, who were new to this. The path was easy to follow. There was just the right amount of snow to make it simple to ride, and the woods were calm. A few birds chirped as the morning warmed, but the deer had gone to their winter feeding spots, and the smaller animals were still sleeping. Aside from the sound of the snowmobiles, everything was peaceful. The green fir and spruce trees added color to the forest, contrasting with the dull, sleeping aspens and maples. Isn't it beautiful, Ian? Thank you for bringing us here, Allie shouted over the noise as they continued on. What usually took 2 days of walking took just over 3 hours on the snowmobiles. Ali, did you really fall down that? You're lucky that's all that happened. And Ian, you carried her up those rocks? Ian's mom exclaimed. Hiking down those rocks looks tricky, especially with all our gear. Even if we get everything down to the clearing, how will we get it back up? She continued. You're right, Mom. Let's look around for an easier way down. If we can't find one, we'll use the ropes and the sled I brought to move our stuff, Ian said. I checked the maps for this area, and it seems like there's a gentle slope just ahead. It should be easy unless there's too much brush around, his mom added. Ian and Ron exchanged glances. You looked at the maps? Of course. I did that before planning this trip. Surprised? She smiled at Chris. I'll head up the trail a bit further to look for that gentle slope. Ron, why don't you go back and see what you can find? Ian suggested. Thankfully, a short distance ahead, they discovered a path that led down to a clearing, making it easy to snowmobile down. At the bottom of the slope, Ian made a clear spot in the snow and moved some rocks to create a circle for a fire. He started a blaze using the wood they'd brought along. Ali, why don't you and my parents find some more firewood nearby? Ron and I will set up the tents and unpack. These tents go up fast, so it shouldn't take long. I'll also get some hot water going for coffee, cocoa, or whatever. About an hour later, they had everything set up and gathered around the fire on some warm rocks. They enjoyed hot drinks and lunch. Ian handed Allie a peanut butter sandwich with a smile. Thanks, Ian. I never thought I would enjoy these again, but right now, it feels just right. Thanks for suggesting it. I won't eat quite as much as last time, though. Everyone laughed at that. So, Allie, do you want to have the wedding now or wait until tomorrow? Ian, I would prefer to do it at dawn tomorrow, when the first light starts and a new day begins. We won't have any direct sunlight down here until later, but we can still enjoy it as the forest wakes up. Does that sound good? Then, Ron, you can go back after if you like, or you can stay. It's always nice to have someone from the church nearby, with a smile. In the meantime, how about we put on those snowshoes? You can show me how graceful you are, mountain man. Chris, Don, are you warm enough in the outfits we got for you? Well, Ian, I think we should turn in early. We have a busy day tomorrow. Everyone agreed and headed to their tents. In a whisper, Ian, what are you doing? You can't sleep yet. You have responsibilities. Allie, we can't. My parents are right there in their tent. They'll hear... Ian, just listen. Can't you hear them? Ian, no, my parents aren't doing that. I can't hear anything. Wait, did you hear what she said? Something about holding on and... Plugging his ears. La, 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 la. I can't hear anything, Ali. My parents don't do that. They've never. If this keeps happening every time they are around, we won't be able to see them. Ian, stop covering your ears. Your mom said your dad was quite the character, and they have fun together. She said something about... It just didn't make sense to me. Something about a door. No, back door. She mentioned he likes her back door. Ali, please stop. I won't be able to face them again without thinking about that. First, it was one thing, and now this. I'm going to have nightmares. I'll need help. She laughed. Okay, Ian. Just so you know, there's no way I'm letting you stop when we're older. You might have to kiss me to quiet me down. Now come here and get it over with. But it's true about your dad being quite the character. The next morning, well before dawn. Ian, wake up. You're shaking the snow off the branches with your snoring. Time to get up and start a fire. I need to prepare. Leave without looking at me. It's bad luck to see the bride on the wedding day. He grumbled and mumbled something. And send your mom in. She wanted to help. An hour later, she was ready. It was just beginning to get light. She wore a beautiful white dress that fit her nicely. She accented her chest and slim waist in a tasteful way. She wore long johns and boots underneath. A sprig of spruce with a few holly berries was in her hair, along with a small bouquet of fir and berries. Minister Ron stood with his back to the fire. Ian, dressed sharply, stood to the right. His parents took pictures with their phones as she walked out, the hem of her skirt dragging in the snow. She stood in front of Ian, who came forward and kissed her. You look so beautiful, Ali. Thank you, Ian. Thank you for everything. Thank you for making me the happiest woman ever, and I will try every day to make you the happiest man. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here. After the ceremony, they shared a kiss. Then Ian walked over to Ron's tent and brought out a large box. He placed it on a small stand and said, Go ahead, Ali. Open it. Inside was a tiered cake with a little figure on top. It was an ogre. She lunged forward and kissed him. You will always be my prince, Ian. Thank you. Let's save the top tier for our anniversary and enjoy the rest now. Soon after, Ron packed up to leave for home. I have a date and don't want to miss it. His parents added, We need to give you two some privacy. We'll see you when you get back. Ron leaned over to Ali and said, I'm afraid I'll break my dear hubby if we stay and listen to you two again. They both laughed. Thank you, Ali, for bringing my son back to life. The newlyweds enjoyed their day together. As night fell, Ali said, Ian, I need to go to the bathroom. Will you carry me to a log like old times? He looked at her a bit surprised. All right, if that's what you want. Just kidding, my dear husband. I love hearing that. Mrs. Turner can handle it all by herself. She stepped outside the tent, and 15 minutes later, he heard her scream with excitement as she rushed back in. She dove on top of him. I didn't think it was possible, but you've made me even happier. Look! He stared at her, confused, as she held something up close. He couldn't quite see it clearly. He shrugged, not understanding what he was looking at. What am I going to do with you, Ian? It's a pregnancy test, and it's positive. I'm pregnant, and it's a girl. He hugged her tightly. This is wonderful, Ali, but how do you know it's a girl? It just feels right, and her name will be Autumn, because that's when you rescued me and changed my life. Then winter, spring, summer. Each will have its own season. If there are more, we'll use Willow, Lily, and so on. I should have known you had a plan. Really? Autumn? Yes, it's a beautiful name. She'll love it. And she'll be born in the autumn. Every season of her life will remind us of our time together. Each year will be a new chapter in her life that we can share with her until we are very old. You'll be a great father, but remember, no spoiling her. Well, maybe just a little. And if we have boys, that's easy. They can be named Junior, the second, and the third. You know how boys always have nicknames, right? I'm sure you agree. They both chuckled at the funny memory. Yeah, I guess so, he replied, a bit hesitantly. Now let's get ready so I can thank you properly. But I'm keeping my top on because it's really cold in here. Warm me up, my prince. Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of the exciting stories we have coming up. What do you think about the characters in this story? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.